Hello everybody, my name is Xaphan and welcome back to some more Everlasting Summer. In the last episode, we did the Semyon endings, and I'm fucked up. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. My theory is that he basically has a guardian angel sort of dealio thing, and it sends him back to do something specific to make him change his current life and how it is now. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm not too sure. But now we are doing the cat girl ending. So what we do is we go, yes, I'll come with you. And then after that, it is day one when we're with Slavia and we leave the keys. So we have to make sure that we do everything right. Because if we don't do everything right, then we could quite potentially, you know, fuck this up. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that at all. We don't need to run after our buddy boy. And we don't worry about her. We don't worry about that girl. And is it... leave the keys. Okay, we leave the keys. Okay, good. Okay, Lena, we don't need you right now, Lena. Day 2. So nothing for day 2. It's just straight up your normal shit. Straight up your normal stuff. You meet your boys. You meet Miku. You meet the infirmary lady, the scary infirmary lady. And then we go to the library. Meet the scary librarian. Which we all know, she's scary as balls, yo. Anything with this? No, we'll go with Slavia to save some time then. And... we don't need a bet with Alyssa, because we don't need to worry about the tournament. So we skip. And then we'll lose against Lena, because we don't need a win. So we'll go to the bus stop, and then we come across Slavia after dancing through the forest. Wait a minute, I think it's day 3 now? Okay, you know Olga asked me to help her tonight. And then, who cares, better keep looking for answers. And then, I think I'd rather assist the guys with their giant robot engineering. I don't think I've read this. Well, they might be not so giant after all. That was surely a hard decision to make. Indeed. Is there any reason to spend extra time with the weird chaps fond of early to mid 20th century sci-fi stuff? But what if I manage to find out something useful from them? At least I can try. Standing on the threshold of the clubhouse, I hesitated for a while. Finally, all my doubts were swept aside. I opened the door and went in. Electronic and Shirk were bending over the table studying something. Hi, cyberneticists. How's it going? I was itching to behave as friendly as I could. Hi, we're waiting for you, brah. How did you know I was going to say that? Electronic obviously intended to be called the Oracle. I felt like I have read this. No, I haven't. So, what do you need? You'll help us to complete the robot, brah. No way. That's out of my league, man. Don't worry, brah. We'll show you around, brah. The more you hate me, brah, the more you will learn, brah. I'm a hard man, brah, and a hard brah. But I'm fair, brah. Electronic joined in cheerfully. There is more to life than fun and games, dudes. There is a topic to discuss. I've got a question, and you seem to have an answer. What's the question, brah? He inquired guardedly. Do you think it's possible to travel in time? Why would you think such a thing, brah? Electronic suddenly became serious. It's not only my idea. I took a book from the library yesterday, The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. You must have read it. So, well, I'm thinking it over. Brah? Wanna leap to the future, see how life is there, brah? Nah, man, not really. I'm more interested in traveling back in time. Why is that, brah? I don't know. Why not? Well, and what do you think about it? General relativity theory postulates the existence of wormholes, brah. Also known as tunnels in space, brah. But you wouldn't understand it at all anyway, brah. I bet I won't. Anyway, brah. In any such a supposition, we'll encounter a whole bunch of paradoxes, brah. For example, brah, if you travel to the past and kill yourself, brah, that would mean that you from the present won't be able to exist, brah. Well, it seems so. In a nutshell, brah, it's all too unscientific, brah. I see, but what if it would be possible? I mean, do I need some kind of machine, a device, or a program to get to the past? Or it's enough just to fall asleep in a wrong place and wake up in another time in reality? I'm sure that modern science has no answer for your question yet, brah. Oh, yep, he sounds just like Popular Mechanics magazine. I've seen a couple of issues lying around my shelves too. I see. It appears that coming here was a bad idea. However, brah, if we assume that known laws of physics are incorrect, brah, or alternatively, the laws themselves are correct but we don't know everything about them, brah, then it's definitely possible, brah. Okay. Or it could be somebody, brah, like for example, brah, and a more advanced race than humans that possesses superior knowledge of the nature of things, brah. Okay. They could build a time machine, brah, or travel through time by some other means, brah. Okay. So that means that I was thrown into the past by humanity's big brothers? An interesting idea. And it seems reasonable if you think about it. And how would one find the ones you've been talking about, if you're already in the past? How on earth would we know, brah? Oh, brah, boy, brah. They both laughed loudly. Well, thanks, guys. I was about to leave. Hey, hang on, brah, and what about our robot? I'm sure that everything will be just fine with it. The junior cybernetics arguments were quite logical, but alas, I wasn't an inch closer to solving the mystery of my arrival in this world. I strolled around the camp for some time, then headed to the canteen. Who's marching forward in a row? It's a pioneer squad! Is this anything? No. Oh, yes, it is. We run away. We had to make sure to run away from her. And then the next one is on day 4, which is almost here. Oh yeah, I'm here for a reason. Day 4. So we're almost there. We gotta go through all this junk and diddly. We don't want to go with you, Miku. You scare the shit out of me, man. You're very scary, girl. So then I get stuck. Yeah, I get stuck in here. Just asking. And then overdose on stolen candies. And then do not ask about the bundle. Give Alyssa the carbon. And then we eat the apple. You gotta make sure to eat the apple. Which I've already done before, so I could skip that. We go alone. Here we go. Oh. Around the next turn, the flashlight beam illuminated a big shadow. I was trembling with fear. And couldn't move even one step further. I was woken from my stupor only by the thought that it could be Shurik. Shurik! No answer. Oh, that is terrifying! Yep, that's terrifying. Around the corner, the shadow disappeared. I saw a blurry human shape. Someone was sitting on a stone? Or maybe something. I stopped dead. What are you doing here? I heard a lovely voice. Catching mice. I opened my mouth, but couldn't say anything. Did you see any here? No, but I'm sure there are plenty of them. I shined the flashlight on her face. It's Cat Girl! Either something was wrong with her head or with her biological species because of her ears and tail. She doesn't really look like a human. And how many have you caught?
Not a single one.
She answered seriously. She didn't look hostile. Subconsciously I felt that I shouldn't be afraid of her. But at the same time, I had absolutely no idea what to ask her, how to ask her, who she is, or what she is doing. But on the other hand, normally, if you suddenly met someone in a deserted mine, you'd have a heart attack from shock. And the girl in front of me was definitely not a pioneer from the camp. And you, who are you?
You're probably looking for him.
For who?
That boy.
Well, yes, I answered after a small pause. But still, the girl interrupted me.
He's been walking around here for a long time. I tried talking to him, but he didn't hear me.
And where is he now?
I don't know. Maybe he's still wandering somewhere.
It seems that she wasn't interested in this conversation at all. And you, how did you get here?
The same way you did, from the surface.
Without a flashlight?
Why not?
She gave me a perplexed look. I completely lost all comprehension. The flashlight flickered. Terrified, I started banging it with my fist. When the light lit back up, the girl wasn't there. I don't know who or what she is, but it seemed like she could help me find the answers. It's the strangest thing, but I wasn't scared of her. I just felt that this girl wouldn't do me any harm. But now I must find Shurek. I have a feeling that this is not the last time I'll meet this girl. I don't know why, but I'm sure about it. Around the last turn, a door appeared from the darkness. And Shurek was inside! And then we go past all this. And then that girl from the mine appeared just before my eyes. I saw her so clear. It was as if she was really in front of my bed. No, I'm just seeing things. But still, why didn't I get scared back there? I just went and spoke to her normally. Just like that? All the answers are here. The cat-eared girl knows something for sure. Maybe I was too exhausted because of the old camp, mine, and labyrinth, and my nerves were stretching to breaking. I should have asked her about something. But still, I have time. Oh, now it's day ... Oh, this is good. It's interesting how seemingly simple events can affect a person. For example, there are such widespread occurrences of OCD among children, where when you walk on the road you have to step on the tiles precisely, avoiding the cracks. It seems like nothing special, but if one doesn't get rid of it in time, just forgetting or forcing oneself to step over the tiles, it could become a really big problem in the future. For instance, one will only stare down and will get hit by a car. I never had anything like OCD, but minor events in my life often led to major troubles. Really, what's wrong with meeting a strange girl with cat ears in a pioneer camp on the edge of time and space, or possibly even between the worlds? Doesn't seem like a big deal, although perhaps I just got used to thinking that nothing really existed for me before this week. There was only this camp and this life. That's why something like a cat-eared girl was just par for the course in this wonderland. She's just another character in this play, neither better nor worse than any other. But somewhere deep in my soul, I knew that wasn't so. All the camp inhabitants seemed normal, sometimes even too normal, with absolutely nothing remarkable about them. Jeez, you could even say that my life here was simply boring. And now? My head was about to burst with thoughts, so I opened my eyes and jumped out of the bed. The camp leader's cabin was the same as usual. Outside the window, a bird monotonously cheeped, trying to burst the capillaries in my eyes with her singing. The clock showed 11 a.m. Why didn't Olga wake me up? Though who cares? I slept enough at least. However, I didn't feel like I'd fully recovered. The whole world was seemingly laughing at me, the bright sun outside, the lightly blowing breeze gently whispering to the crowns of the trees. And this nasty bird had brought some fellows with her, obviously trying to ruin my mental stability. The water from the washstands was ice cold as usual. While washing my face, I realized that I forgot my toothbrush, tooth powder, and towel in the cabin. Strange, I didn't forget my head. I couldn't imagine a worse way to start the day. At that moment, I thought that it was the worst day of all that I have to spend in this camp. Although there weren't a lot of choices, little more than 100 hours, not enough time to get the full image of a new home. Home. This world struck my mind painfully. Do I have to stay here forever? But why? How? What for? I helplessly sat on the grass and buried my face in my hands. Suddenly I remembered that girl. I wonder how many more fantastic characters I'll meet here. A wonderful day, isn't it? I couldn't even be bothered to raise my head. Yeah, it couldn't be any better, I answered, keeping the same pose. Why so sarcastic? Sarcastic? I was surprised and looked up, but there was nobody there. Is it my imagination? No, I heard that for sure. Maybe I'm losing my mind. That underground mind, shrieked voices, the cat girl, more voices. Is there anything here I can be sure about? I punched the washstand painfully hard and immediately jumped up, holding my hand and cursing. Damn it! It's the cat girl! And she doesn't have overly large breasts like all the other girls. Suddenly somebody walked out of the bushes in front of me. Or something.
Hi!
It was the girl from yesterday. Hi? I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to expect from her. She's probably a beast and came here to end my life. That is, of course, only if it hasn't ended already. The cat girl stared at me.
It hurts!
She looked at my hand. Yes? I answered timidly.
Then why?
Why what?
Why did you punch it?
'Cause I was angry? I was completely unsure how I should talk to her. Perhaps one wrong word, phrase, or gesture could be fatal for me.
Angry at who?
But the girl wasn't showing any signs of aggression. It seemed that she was just wondering what was happening. At myself.
I see.
She smiled faintly. Listen, I don't know how I should put it, but I must ask. I kept silent for a moment, gathering myself. Who are you? The girl looked at me blankly.
I am me, of course,
she said confidently. No doubt about that, but how should I say it? You just don't meet a human with cat ears and a tail every day, you know. The cat girl carefully examined the aforementioned parts of the body I asked.
Why?
I was totally confused. If in the first few minutes I thought it was necessary to be afraid, to be very careful, now she seems more like a good spirit being than a hostile monster. Because in my world, I was absolutely convinced that I shouldn't hide anything from her. In my world, this only happens in fairy tales.
What is a fairy tale?
Well, it's a story which cannot happen in reality.
So I don't really exist?
The girl laughed. I'm not even sure that I exist.
But I can touch you, so you exist.
Just thinking about the fact that she will touch me, I felt uncomfortable. Well, let's say I exist, yes. I stepped back.
Goody goody.
The girl smiled and waved her tail. There was an awkward silence. All the time I'd spent in this camp, I lived as if in a dream. Sometimes when you sleep and realize that everything that happens in your brain is just a figment of your imagination, and you need just a wish. I've thought so for the last 5 days. This thought constantly existed somewhere deep in my soul. However, it seems that everything is happening in reality. At least, I couldn't just wake up. I just want to understand.
What?
The girl was still smiling. How I got here, and how to get out of here. Suddenly I heard voices by the roadside, so I turned around. Slavia and Xenia were slowly approaching the washstands, and but the girl had disappeared. Did you see that? Did you see that? Like I just needed someone to confirm the existence of this creature. Then I can convince myself that I'm not going crazy. What an irony! To go mad while in the land of Oz. Though just arriving here is already a ticket to the loony bin. And even if I wake up right now, I still wouldn't be sure that it was all a dream.
See what?
The girls looked at me blankly. Anyone besides me? I could hardly speak. So an illusion, huh? So I'm actually... You should get your head examined, seriously! Xenia snorted and passed by. Slavia smiled apologetically and hurried after her. So it's all that simple? I just wanted one thing now, for someone in this nightmare to believe that I'm still sane? This whole camp and its pioneers did not seem as real as yesterday. In the end, less than a week ago, I lived the completely normal life of an ordinary man of his time, and now, maybe everything that happened made me think that all is going the way it should. That it's normal just to exist here. And now the last leftovers of my common sense desperately clung to this cat-like girl with ears, trying to prove to the locals that I'm not crazy. See? You don't exist. You! It's me and your tail, not you and mine. And then she appears. My head was about to explode. If not for the signal for dinner, perhaps I would have run to the library, searching for medical books with the lobotomy instructions. Canteen was crowded as usual. Some things never change. For the first time, I looked at all the local pioneers from a slightly different angle. Indeed, why is everything so correct? As if someone created this pioneer camp by carefully compiling material from the internet, without bothering to visit such a place himself. It was just like an old Soviet movie. The strict camp leader, the exemplary pioneers, even Alyana, and even Alyssa. All within the normal range. So where does the strange girl come from? She seemed like a smear of paint that just happened to be on a picture due to the shaky hands of a sloppy restorer. Electronic suddenly sat beside me. Hey there, brah! He smirked. Hey. What are you thinking about, brah? There was absolutely nothing wrong with speaking openly to anyone. Not anymore. Did you happen to see anyone strange here? Strange, brah? Well... not quite human. I don't really understand, brah. Boy. Electronic laughed. A girl with cat ears and a tail. I said shortly. A girl with ears and a tail, brah? He began to think. How do you know about her, brah? Well, let's assume I saw her. This conversation was starting to get interesting. Let's assume you actually did, brah. Is it really so important? Electronic stared at me seriously like, boy! There is a legend here about a cat girl, brah. She steals food, small bits and pieces of stuff, and avoids people, brah. Really? A legend? So what does this girl look like? I never saw her myself, brah. They say that she has a tail and ears as you described, brah. And what else? Well, this legend is old, brah. And I don't know much about it, brah. Who do you think knows more? Ask Olga. She's been in this camp many times, brah. Even before she became a camp leader, brah. Alright, thanks. I stood up and went to find the camp leader. I bet she decided to take a nap after lunch. Perhaps Olga was the only element that was somewhat out of place in the picture of an ideal camp. She certainly was not a role model camp leader. I barged in. Olga! Olga! I need to find you! I opened the door and confidently entered the cabin. And indeed, she was lying on the bed reading a book as expected. Semyon, slacking again? Actually, yes, but anyway, I wanted to ask you something. She stared at me and I hesitated a little. Maybe I shouldn't be so straightforward about everything. It was like my internal firewall had triggered and I could just not tell the camp leader that I'd seen the cat girl today. Maybe I got quite used to hinting at something, avoiding straight questions, lying and keeping words back. In just 4 days? Although, I guess I'd be known that my whole life. Olga, I was at the dinner, spoke with Electronic, and he told me a legend about a cat girl that supposedly lives here. He also said that you would know more. Why do you need to know that? The camp leader gave me a piercing look and stood up. Just curious. I like stuff like this. I tried to smile, but it didn't seem to make things any better.
We have a completely normal camp.
Sure you do. Completely normal. Don't even want to imagine what you'd call unusual. I suppose something with zombies and maniac. You mean Miku's ending? A nightmare on Sovyanok Street. Of course, of course! Now I get it! Yes, I understand, but Electronic said that you visited this place before.
Yes.
The camp leader was thinking about something.
However, there is indeed a legend that somewhere in the surrounding woods, a strange cat girl lives, sometimes stealing food and small items from cabins. She is afraid of people, and if someone accidentally sees her, she runs away.
That was quite different from what I saw this morning. That cat girl was more like watching me, studying, trying to understand, but not afraid at all. And you...
Have I seen her?
Olga interrupted me.
No, I haven't, but I was quite close to doing so several times. Bottles, milk, tooth powder, and plenty of other things disappeared from my cabin sometimes. Mysteriously disappeared without a trace.
I'd completely forgotten about the fact that all pioneers here do not actually exist and just listen attentively to the camp leader.
I was curious where this stuff disappeared to before, but in the end there is no evidence of her existence.
She smiled as if implying that this conversation is over. And if there was?
Why are you so interested in this?
Who wouldn't be interested in stuff like this? Though I still have many things to rack my brains for.
I don't know.
The camp leader thought about something for a second and then returned to her usual mother of all camps state.
Well, seems like you've decided to become completely laid back. Do something already.
She paused and stretched herself in such a way that her breasts grew 4 cups bigger. That wrinkles that shouldn't even be there at her age came out.
Go on, get down to business.
I just sighed and went out. All in all, no one from among the pioneers has ever seen a cat-eared girl. They'd only heard legends. Well, I should probably find her. I'd already recovered from this morning's shock events, and existential thoughts have by now stopped pressuring my brain, so it was possible for me to take a reasonable position, more or less. It was necessary because I still had a lot of questions. How did I get here? For what reason? Why? And where is this here? And the cat girl is the catalyst for it all. But I didn't want to start the theorizing about parallel worlds, aliens, experiments, and the afterlife again. I was fed up with this after just my first few hours in the camp. Perhaps I just need to put aside the theories and look at the physical reality. Even if I assume that this world exists regardless of my will and I have to live here, my arrival here is inexplicable. It's more worthwhile to concentrate on studying this world and on analyzing possible events which may happen to me here. I'll do that until the opposite is proven. Until then, let's assume that I'm stuck here. For the long haul, if not forever. The deck chair melodiously squeaked with every movement. Lilac branches tried to strike me in the face, and the vile morning birds were silent for a long time, apparently tired of the summer heat. The treetops seemed like sharp peaks of the high walls of a medieval castle, lost in the boundless woods. In these cabins, the square Genda's monument, the clubhouse building, or just a little village of peasants huddling near the millennial walls of grim fortress, hidden in a grove. And all of us here, either people like me or cat girls, are just servants of an evil genius hiding somewhere out there. It would be much easier if the camp was on top of a hill, because 1,000 years ago, the best place for fortification was always somewhere up high. Probably that someone just has nothing to be afraid of. But in that case, he would not hide so carefully behind the treetops. I sighed and closed my eyes. My consciousness slowly started to desert me, and soon the whole world faded into darkness. Oh? Interesting. And again before my eyes, like an endless carpet, the road surrounded by woods and fields goes on forever on. The bus is going somewhere, leaving behind everything I knew, loved, and hated. An unfamiliar girl is leaning over me and gently whispering something in my ear. I'm actually interested in what she's saying, but I can't hear her. I'm just watching everything from the side and can see everything except her face, and hear everything except her words, and feel everything except my own life. I'm 14 and this is deep! I woke up feeling like I was suffocating and began greedily sucking in the air. My breath soon went back to normal and an intolerable thirst came upon me. But what was that dream all about? And who was that girl? These questions again. Maybe I've already died and gone to hell. Can a human being feel that his life is now over and that he can just move on to the next stage of existence? My head was about to explode due to such cosmic thoughts. What did I do to deserve this? I'm just an ordinary guy, not a philosopher, not a theologist, not a scientist. And I don't want to understand the substance of things, the way of the universe. I'm not asking for any more than just to live my life peacefully and then doze off into an eternal sleep when everything is over. But no, I'm just trapped here. Tears of frustration welled in my eyes. And why is it always like this? I started to think that if I gave it any more thought, I would either understand the substance of all things or go insane for good. Ultimately, it all started with a bus. I got in, went to sleep, and there was a girl. Perhaps one of the local pioneers, maybe even the cat-eared one. Well, why not? I can't rule a single idea out. So I'm here now. My thoughts stopped, tumbleweed rolled back and forth in my brain, bouncing around the organ, which kept my ears from falling off. And that's all. Now I'm here, in hell, heaven, purgatory, or wherever. Looks like I'm going to spend the rest of the eternity in this place. For some reason, I fixated on this exact theory. It's strange that I didn't care about the fact that a spiritual being doesn't have basic human senses, sight, hearing, or touch. All in all, at first glance, there was nothing different about me from my condition a week ago. Well, except for being a couple of years younger. And what's so bad about what happened? I might even consider this a second chance. After all, it's not that hard to get a job. I could rent a room in a hostel. I'm 17 now. I'm still healthy. My brain is in an excellent state. My energy is at its peak. I might try to achieve something. But what had prevented me from doing so before? Was I really that old back then? I jammed like an old rifle, and without outside help, I wouldn't have escaped this cycle of self-reflection. Fortunately, Lena soon appeared by the camp leader's cabin.
Hi.
I raised my eyes reluctantly and stared through her for a few seconds. Hello. She stopped, looked away, and blushed.
Well, never mind. May I have a seat?
Sure. Lena perched herself on the edge of the deck chair.
What are you thinking about?
Trying to understand the laws of this world.
And how's it going?
She asked seriously. Not too good. Perhaps they're beyond human comprehension.
Then maybe you shouldn't bother.
But what should I do? I just have to.
Why?
And really, why? Does it happen to be some vital urgency? I didn't really bother thinking about things that in the past and lived in a relative space. But what has changed so drastically now? I won't think about it now either, and we'll be living in somewhat different conditions, but what's wrong with that? If there is no choice, I don't know. It seems that nothing is up to me. It looked like Lena wanted to say something, but she didn't. And you probably came to see Olga?
Yes. I mean, no. But to be honest...
What is it?
Sometimes I feel that way too.
What do you mean?
That nothing is up to me.
I looked at her attentively. She was sitting with downcast eyes, nervously toying with a handful of field flowers that were yellow like the fervent rays of the summer sun.
Well, you know, these flowers, for instance, They were growing just for the sake of it. Then I ripped them out of the ground and that's all.
She was literally about to start crying. It didn't really fit my picture for Lana. Well, yeah. To be honest, I really don't know what to say.
Well, so are we. We are ripped out and then...
She got up abruptly and rushed in the direction of the square without saying goodbye. Interesting. Indeed, Lana, like all the other pioneers, seemed to be real. Not a figment of my imagination, not a doll, not an NPC. A few hours ago, I was sure that I'm the only one who exists here, and possibly the cat-eared girl. I wish I could find her. I'm in a state of something like spiritual deprivation, and all my senses are working properly. But I still have a painful need to know why I am here. As if the need for identity, to find my place in this world, to determine its nature, laws, and mechanisms have become vital. Just like the need for food and rest. It is probably the worst punishment for a human, to have the desire to understand something, but not the ability to wish to change something, but not to have the opportunity, to strive for something, but to be unable to achieve it. I've never seriously thought before, why am I in this world? How much time will I spend here? What do I have to do, and what will come next? Now, after encountering this other world, I have nothing left but to think about these. I guess that if it is possible to escape from here, I'll return to my quiet life, where I don't have such troubles. But I won't return. It's so hard to face a task which cannot be completed. If I could choose my fate, I would never agree to this bus, this camp, these girls. I would stay there in my apartment, in front of the monitor. You can't demand anything more from a person that he can do. It's better to spend the rest of your life working in the mine than trying to understand something that just won't fit into your head. After all, there's no other way. Of course, it is possible to make a valiant effort to try not to think, try to accept this reality and start a new life. But it's not part of human nature to neglect everything that happens around you. If I was accused of a crime, which I had not committed, of course I would try to resist, to prove my innocence. No one would agree to live in jail instead of a home, whatever the home is like. And now it's me who was thrown from this world I was used to into this jail. Though it is boundless, though there are no walls, no bars on the windows, it is still a jail. I did not ask for this, and my only desire for now is to return back home. And the only key out of here was hung just a little bit higher. There was nothing helpful around, no chair, no stool, not even a small stone that could be put under my feet, and no one to help me. A few centimeters, just a few centimeters, separating me from freedom, from realizing everything. Maybe it's impossible to return back home, but at least I'll be able to escape from this jail. That's exactly what I've wanted for the last 5 days. Oh, I slept all night. Night slowly descended onto the camp. Dinner went by without me, and the camp leader stopped several times by the deck chair trying to tell me something. But I was already in another world, the world of my cage with the key, bound by a guardian not to Ariadne's thread? I don't know how to say that. It was not long before the light in the cabin was turned off and crickets started their lamentable whining all around. Somewhere in the distance, an owlet was hooting at the speed of 37 hoots per minute. I was sitting and rhythmically knocking, trying to accompany him. Suddenly, bushes rustled around me, and a squirrel with a nut in its teeth climbed on a tree. It must be hurrying to meet its family. The summer night's charm was as rich as always, but it didn't affect me in any way at all. The mechanisms of my brain, and probably my soul, were in need of serious maintenance. Not just a slapdash repair of the bodywork and a new paint job. I decided to take a walk. Because thinking about it, I've been sitting in this deck chair for almost the whole day. I even took a small nap. Everyone in this camp was tired. The camp was sleeping. Oh, there's another cat. So he walked around the whole camp. He actually did. The walk between pioneers' cabins, the square with the statue of Genda, The forest path, all that was changing like pictures in a kid's book. The whole world looked like a picture too. And that is not what I was thinking just yesterday. And the reason for that was a strange girl with animal ears, a cat girl, though she could just as likely be another animal. It was like there was a defense mechanism that activated just after I appeared here, which didn't let me look for answers or get a hold of the situation. There were always more important things, such as missing the lineup, getting a comfortable seat during lunch, sneaking away from the camp leader. Or anything other than thinking about why am I here and how I can get out. Anything. I sat on the stump and closed my eyes. A million images appeared in my brain at once. Among them was a road, a bus, and that girl. Yes, the girl with animal ears. It was her who was in the bus. Oh, and she's right there too. I quickly opened my eyes and saw her in front of me. At first it looked like a dream or hallucination, but a sudden gust of cold wind brought me back to reality. The strange girl was sitting and sprinkling sugar on a mushroom.
They grow better this way.
She said with a serious face. Who? I uttered with difficulty.
The mushrooms, who else?
Mushrooms?
Yes, mushrooms.
Why do you need those mushrooms?
To eat, of course. Why would you need mushrooms?
The girl pouted. I just didn't know how to start a conversation with her because I was sure that the thing which looked like a strange girl with animal ears had brought me here, and making friends with a higher being wouldn't do much good.
Do you have more sugar?
She asked suddenly. I don't know, no. Why do you need it?
What do you mean, why? I told you, for the mushrooms. They grow better this way.
Despite everything, the girl looked totally normal. Of course, you don't often see a human with animal ears and a tail, and they actually looked real, but apart from that, I can bring some. I don't know why I said that. Maybe I just wanted to earn her trust? As long as mind reading wasn't one of her abilities.
That's alright, no need, there's enough.
Good.
And?
And what?
Why did you come?
What did she mean? Come to this glider or come to this camp? Or into this life? My head was about to explode from existential thoughts and overanalyzing everything. Just a little bit more, and everything would become crystal clear. No, the answers and the understanding didn't appear from thin air. The safety device just cut in. Caution, doors are closing. No more people will fit in the train. The next stop is... The train was gone and I stayed on the platform without my luggage, wearing a light jacket in the minus 20 degrees Celsius frost. I was just having a walk. The words echoed hollowly in my head. I felt like a Viking from the Middle Ages who stands alone against 100 enemies. No doubts, no regrets, only an iron will to die hard.
I see.
The girl answered without much interest and went back to work. It was you. Back there in the bus.
Me?
She replied lazily without tearing herself away from the mushrooms. Why did you bring me here?
I didn't bring you.
Then who?
I don't know.
But were you in the bus?
I was.
And?
What?
Yelling at her was dangerous, but I couldn't help it. What? Answer me!
Did you ask something?
It looks like this conversation doesn't bother her at all. Who are you? She looked at me in surprise.
I am me.
Okay. Where are you from?
I don't know. I've always been here.
What do you mean, always? You must have come from somewhere, no?
I don't know.
I doubted for a moment that this is an omnipotent being before me. Of course, this girl is a little extraordinary, to be precise, absolutely extraordinary. And she was with me in the bus then, but maybe she has nothing to do with my arrival here. Anything is possible. What do you know?
I know how to make supplies for winter.
She smiled with sweetness and ease. What supplies?
Well, you know, for the winter. It could get cold. I've never seen the local winters, though.
How come you've never seen them if you've always been here?
I don't know.
She looked at me intently.
Anyway, you're boring as hell.
Me?
Yes, you.
How do I bore you?
Your stupid questions.
Stupid? Well, I was dragged out of my usual world, brought here, and now my questions are stupid?
Yes!
She calmly replied. So what questions would you consider not stupid?
Where one can get sugar, for example.
In the canteen, where else? Plenty for you to steal. You're well known for doing that, I've heard.
I do not steal.
The animal-eared girl was outraged.
I'm borrowing it. Comes back anyway.
Comes back or not, I don't care. I want to understand how and why I am here. I want to go back.
I'm not interested in that.
The girl stood up and shook herself. But I'm interested. If you're not the one to blame for everything, then you must know the answers. Someone should know them after all. She looked at me intently and laughed.
You're funny.
I completely lost my temper. Stop mocking me. You! I'm fed up with you! Why me exactly? How am I worse than anyone else? I never asked for anything as fun as all this. Leave me alone. I didn't bother anyone. I didn't hurt anyone. What did I ever do to you? Get lost. Let me live in peace. My whole body shivered. The blood pounded in my head like a cannon. Everything went dark before my eyes.
Have you blown off all your steam?
She asked quietly. I was about to smash her. At least I'll check if she is flesh and blood.
Alright, let's go.
Where?
You'll see.
The girl gestured me to follow and went into the depths of the forest. After some time, I started to suspect that we were walking in circles. Finally, I decided to check it out and put a candy wrapper in a noticeable spot. Indeed, we soon passed it again. Wait! I didn't dare to grab her hand, so I tried to stop her verbally.
What?
Where are you taking me?
I said that you'll see.
But we're walking in circles.
So what?
What do you mean, so what? You won't get anywhere by walking in circles.
But you said it yourself that you were just having a walk.
A girl seems strange, illogical, even arrogant, as if she takes pleasure in mocking me. I'm not moving an inch until you explain what is going on.
Okay.
She stopped and leaned back against a large tree.
I was just bored. It's the same old stuff all the time. But recently, lots of new stuff happened, and now
Now what?
I can talk to you.
She smiled. And you couldn't do it before?
Well, I certainly could. Maybe.
So what happened?
I don't know.
And why do you think that something has happened in the first place?
I've got a feeling.
A feeling, eh? I gave a helpless sigh. Maybe she's just a lunatic that escaped a local asylum and not an omnipotent being? Come on, let's get serious.
Okay, fine.
The girl looked at me intently. Who are you, and what's happening here?
I don't know.
She answered with the same expression over her face. And who knows?
I don't know.
Alright, I'm going to sleep. I had no strength to talk about it, to listen to her nonsense, to walk in the forest, in the circles in the forest. Even if she knows the answers, and she can return me to the usual world and all, not today. Just enough for today. If I stay here one more second, there won't be anyone left to return.
Good night.
The girl said nicely. That's all?
What else do you want? You're going to sleep.
She's right. Okay. Do you at least have a name?
Name?
Yes, a name.
I don't know.
And who knows?
I don't know.
Okay, and what should I call you then?
I don't know.
But a person, every single thing in the world should have a name. There's no other way. She looked at me uncomprehendingly. Alright then, you will be Yulia.
Yulia?
I don't know why I chose that name. Maybe it was the first thing that came to my mind?
Fine.
She smiled merrily.
Now I have to go.
The girl flickered her ears and disappeared into the forest. I slowly dragged my feet back to the camp. Now it looked like I was in some sort of tragic comedy. The higher beings cannot be idiots with the developmental level of a kindergartner, can they? Though it is possible they don't perceive the world the same way we do. I was so exhausted, I couldn't fully comprehend everything that had happened to me recently. The answers could be right before me. I just need to stretch out my arm. It could be that saving stool, which would help me to reach the key. And how could I be so calm in such a situation? Maybe I'm just tired. Dead tired. Fucking Olga's back in my face! Olga waited for me on the doorstep of her cabin.
At last! And where were you wandering in the dead of night?
I looked hard at the camp leader. I wonder, is she real? I don't have a single doubt about that girl, Yulia. She may not be human, but she exists. What about Olga and the other pioneers? You know, I saw that cat girl.
Sure, of course.
She chuckled. Well, you don't have to believe me if you don't want to.
I don't want to, and I don't believe you.
It's your choice, I said in a tired voice and pushed my way into the cabin.
Semyon, tomorrow...
I didn't hear the rest of her words. There was only one thing to understand, whether anything is up to me or not. Should I keep desperately reaching for that key, or is the cat girl the answer I've been looking for? Maybe the only thing left to do is to understand? No one ever said that the clue will be written straightforwardly in your own language. Though maybe I always knew those answers, and I just had to comprehend their meaning? What if everything is not real and I'm just dreaming? What if I just imagine everything about finding the answers and understanding them? Maybe there is no cage, no gel, and the key has already been hung up from the burned out lamp in my room, which has turned into a pioneer camp, inhabited by real but very alive people, who seem so understandable and so precious. Well, no. I'm not a wizard, not an oracle, not a god. Voltaire once said, "Illusion is the first of all pleasures." Maybe my most successful skill was my illusions. Lines of thoughts connected one by one, ready to keep it going until morning, but the safety device worked again and unplugged the whole system instead of reformatting my brain like last time. Interesting. It's getting more interesting. I hope I know what the fuck is going on very soon. I was woken up by a hellish noise in my head. It turned out to be the alarm clock. Having found its button with difficulty, I turned it off. Olga, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Why so early? I said in the direction of the other bed, opening my eyes, but there was no one there. Camp leader must have gone somewhere already. I rose with difficulty and looked myself over in the mirror. Common pioneer. Nothing more. If someone showed me photos of the local residents with me among them, I'd never recognize myself. Sun shined brightly outside, nature seemed to laugh at me. I slowly walked to the washstands. I met only a few pioneers on my way who were obviously in a hurry. Strange, where are they going at such an early hour? The cold water refreshed me a bit, and all the memories of the last few days poured into my head. Well, I should find Yulia, and try to be very polite and proper this time. After all, if you can't understand a fellow human being when judging him by your own worldview and ideas, then how can you talk to something completely alien? Why should aliens or cat girls follow the same moral laws and draw the same logical conclusions as I do? They may perceive the universe in a completely different way, and humans are just ants to them. We don't think of anything of killing a troublesome mosquito, so why should they pay any attention to me and my small problems? Though it could all be totally the other way around, and Yulia may not be guilty in this. Oh, she's there! There was a rustle in the nearby bushes, and I saw a familiar pair of ears. I see you. Yulia reluctantly left her hiding place.
Come on!
She snorted, pouting. Are you watching me?
Yes, is that not allowed?
Well, it's probably allowed. I wanted to talk to you anyway.
Really? Me too.
What about? I wondered.
Something strange is happening here.
Strange what?
I don't know. It's just everyone's behaving differently than usual. Something has happened. First you, then all the others.
What are you talking about? I don't understand.
I don't know. I just feel it, and when I feel something, it always happens.
Yo-Yo looked downcast and even a little afraid. At this time, she totally doesn't look like any kind of higher being. Okay, let's investigate it together.
No one should see me. Come here in an hour until then.
The sound of heavy steps sounded from the road, someone running. I turned around, saw Slavia approaching. Yulia disappeared in the forest as expected. Hi, I smiled.
Yeah, hi.
She looked really nervous with her cheeks blushing, eyes sparkling, and braids all messy.
Semyon, come with me, you'll see for yourself.
Well, I'm kind of fucking doing the cat girl voice to her. What happened? Slavia's face wore such a pleading expression that I decided not to argue. She grasped my hand and dragged me to the square. The entire camp was probably there. As we turned the last corner, I looked past the crowd of pioneers who was staring in the direction to get her, and there was... What? In a distance, where before there was fields and forests, a city slowly started to appear. First it was faded, like it was made of smoke, but then it became more solid, as if emerging from a fog. Sky City, I thought at once. But strange or not, there was nothing special about it, just a normal city, plenty of those in the territory of our vast country. You could call it too normal, almost boring. A city you would never pay attention to when passing by it in a car or flying over it in a plane. But to see such a thing here and now in the camp, lost in the vast fields and forests of another dimension where the only life consists of the local pioneers, squirrels, and mosquitoes. Even a cat girl was not that strange compared to this. Slavia kept squeezing my hand tightly. Pioneers whispered around us as if afraid to speak in a loud voice, afraid that the illusion would disappear, or even the opposite, it would become more real, crushing the little camp of Savianok beneath it. But the city stayed in its place, like a white cliff rising above a valley. There's nothing special about it, neither gigantic skyscrapers nor significant architectural constructs, only houses of different colors and different numbers of floors, industrial buildings, and a hospital or something like that. You couldn't make out people or cars from that distance, but I was sure that the city is teeming with its own life, independent from our camp. I wonder if someone there got up on a roof and is looking at us through binoculars, trying to make out the pioneers crowding it in the square. Indeed, it seemed like something flashed on one of the smallest on the tallest buildings in the distance. But wait a minute. Binoculars? According to my estimations, there were about 2 or 3 kilometers to the city, so if I want to understand something right now, then I need binoculars or a spyglass. I ran to Olga. Do you see that too?
Yes, of course.
She replied as if strained. I need binoculars or a spyglass. The camp leader stopped watching the faraway city for a moment and looked at me uncomprehendingly.
Binoculars? Yes, go to the Cybernetics Club. There should be some.
I darted off and rushed in the direction of the club's building. Electronic and Shirk were tinkering with something as usual and looked like they knew nothing about the weird stuff happening in the camp. Binoculars, quick! I shouted, trying not to lose my breath. What is it, brah? Have you seen it? Oh, damn, you're sitting here with robots like owls. Do you have binoculars or a spyglass? I pronounced each word slowly like a caveman who had just learned how to speak. Can you calmly explain what this is about, brah? No time to explain. Give me the binoculars and hurry to the square. The young cyberneticist didn't keep arguing with me, and in a minute we were standing with the rest of the pioneers as I used the binoculars to carefully examine the city, which appeared from God knows where. First glance, there was nothing special about it, and it gave me an impression of being from my time. The beginning of the 21st century. Ad boards, satellite dishes, pompous shop signs, modern cars.
Give those to me.
The camp leader snatched the binoculars from my hands.
So is that your world?
I turned around and saw Yoya standing next to me. You said no one should see you.
Yes, but
She was lost in thought.
no one sees me right now.
The pioneers didn't pay any attention to the strange girl with cat ears, too occupied by watching the far-off city. Do you know what it is and why?
No,
She answered after a short pause.
there was nothing like this before, nothing at all.
And what was there?
Well, you came, then left, then came again.
And what did you do all that time?
I told you before, I was preparing supplies for the winter.
I totally couldn't understand. Does Yulia really not consider this situation even a little bit strange? Or is she just good at role-playing? However, who would need to put on such a show for my benefit alone? I'm nothing but a guinea pig in a cage. I don't believe you. You should know something.
Semyon.
I turned around to the camp leader.
I've no idea what all this is about, but it looks very strange. We should call the police.
Olga reacted in the usual way, like a normal person would in such a situation. Turned back to Yoya to triumphantly inform her about it, but the cat girl had already disappeared.
What can it be?
The camp leader said quietly, not addressing anyone. I didn't know if I should tell her about myself, about the future, about traveling to the past. How do I know that the city really is from my time? Could it be just another illusion, and the behavior of the pioneers is just part of it? And what if it isn't? I didn't manage to say any more. Cool! Cool! Oyana shouted, appearing from nowhere. Let's go and check it out!
Oh yeah, they must be expecting us.
Wait a moment. We should think it over first.
Lena came up behind us, but didn't say anything.
What do you think, Semyon?
Slavia asked and stared at me as if expecting an immediate answer. And actually, why should what I think about it matters? What is the difference between me and them makes me so all-knowing? What does it matter that I'm new to this world? The things that are happening are as obscure to me as for any other local. I have no idea. Indeed, let's go and see for ourselves. Doesn't seem to be too far.
But it's dangerous. Isn't sitting here dangerous too?
Lena said shyly. All the pioneers in the camp looked at her uncomprehendingly.
Well, I mean, if that city has appeared so suddenly, then something else could happen too, and we...
She seemed to be getting completely confused, so she stopped talking.
Well, she's right,
Alyssa said in a lazy voice.
I certainly don't understand what this is all about, but I'm not going to just sit and wait till something else happens.
So if no one else is going to...
And me!
Olyana interrupted her.
Well, what then? If it is just an illusion...
Then we don't lose anything. I was a bit surprised by the locals' urge to find out the nature of this phenomenon, because before they had avoided any conversation related to my appearance in this world. Maybe it's a riddle inside of a riddle? Like two enclosed spheres, we are within the shell of the outer one, where everything is clear for them but alien to me, and that city is just the intersection of the two spheres. However, if it is true, then I should be located on the boundary, not knowing anything about one or the other. Olga was doubtful. Everyone else waited for her approval or strict prohibition. Nothing surprising about that. In the life of the camp, organized by Swiss Watch, something made my eye feel dry as balls. She was a tyrant and despo. But when the boundaries of Savionok expanded and a mysterious opponent appeared from beyond them, she couldn't keep the reins of power in her hands, started to panic, to feel restless on the throne which was losing its appeal. This may be the right time to start acting with confidence. I think we should go and check it out. How long should I sit here trying to look for some answers? Where do I find them? In the canteen? In the camp leader's cabin? Near the Genda statue? I have nothing to do here, especially when such an opportunity comes across.
But...
Olga shyly objected. What if we are already dead or something? I had to motivate the others in some way, but I hadn't decided to tell them about myself.
How's that? Dead?
An expression of terror filled Lena's face. I'm not talking literally, but anything could happen. We can't tell for sure what is going on here, so any theory has to be considered. Lena started crying. Slavia tried to comfort her.
It's even more fun that way.
And here is Olyana, for whom even death itself may not be a good reason to act calmly.
We should go in any case,
Alyssa said cheerfully. I turned around and looked at Shirk and Electronic. Well, brah, we'd better stay here, try to measure it, make calculations, brah. I see. I didn't actually expect any help from those two.
Then you should get ready, prepare everything you may need.
Olga started to busy around.
Flashlights, warm clothes, walkie-talkie. Do you have walkie-talkie in the club?
She addressed the cyberneticists. They nodded in the affirmative.
Ah, it's getting really interesting.
In half an hour, the investigation team gathered at the square. Me, Alyssa, Lena, Slavia, Olyana. I was given quite a heavy backpack, packed with warm clothes, flashlights, some other necessities, and in my hands I held a short-wave walkie-talkie. I would certainly manage to walk those 2 or 3 kilometers wearing it on my shoulders, but why not distribute items among everyone? I'm just going to point out here, this would have been a good time for Semyon to pull out his phone and check if he has signal, because if you remember when he first got there, he had no signal. So if indeed he did have signal on his phone, that would prove that that is his world. I'm just saying. Well, you know, I dropped the backpack on the ground and looked at the camp leader. I'm the only man here and you immobilized me. Everyone should carry their own share. The girls hesitated. The first one to come to the backpack was Olyana. She took a flashlight and a warm jacket, grousing. The rest of them followed her example. I didn't expect such boldness from myself and expected even less for them to agree without question. Even local pioneers may try to behave logically in critical situations. After a couple of minutes,
We're at the camp's gates.
I hope you understand that I can't go with you. I have to look after the others and...
It's alright, you don't need to explain. I didn't count on Olga's help, especially as there was some truth in her words.
Good luck, and don't forget that you have the radio.
The summer sun scorched us mercilessly. The warm sweater in the bag seemed a kind of mockery. I'll give it and all the flashlights and even the walkie-talkie away in exchange for the camp leader's Panama hat and a water bottle. And why didn't anyone think of bringing a water flask? Oh, there were less and less clothes on Alyssa with every passing minute. Let's have a rest. I slowed down, shaded my eyes with my palm, and looked in the direction of the city, which was to the right of us. It didn't seem to be an inch closer. Why not straight to it? Oyana sounded annoyed. How's that, straight through the forest and fields? I don't mind, even that would be better than making detours.
It would be quicker to go by road. Look, it makes a turn there. I forgot her voice. I think it was not like this, but it was something else.
Slavia tried to reason with her. Do as you wish. Alyssa flopped down on the grass by the roadside. I'll take a break. We settled in the shade of a small bush near the power line. I took out the binoculars and looked at the city. The multi-storied buildings still shined in the distance. Why aren't we getting closer? Or is it the heat which is creating an optical illusion? A nearby bush rustled lightly. I turned around and saw a pair of cat ears sticking out of it. Wait, I'll be back in a moment. Having walked around the bushes, I gestured to Yulia to follow me, and only after making sure we had enough distance from others that they wouldn't see us and did I speak. So, are you watching us?
Well, of course, I'm interested too.
Ah, I see. And you surely don't know what awaits us there, do you?
Surely don't.
She smiled. And you have no idea why don't we get any closer to the city?
Actually, I do.
Oh yeah, Yulia replied calmly. Why then?
Because you can't leave this place.
I sighed heavily as usual and leaned against the lone tree. Maybe it's the right time to tell me everything. She got lost in thought.
It was different before. You came and then you left and then you came again, and even if you went out so far, it was all the same. And the city is your world.
Why do you always refer to it as my world?
Because it is not of this place.
Yulia was exasperated. What is this place? Can you be any clearer? I certainly wasn't mad at her. It seemed to me that the cat girl wasn't hiding anything important, but she just did not understand the questions or did not know the answers.
I don't know.
Alright, let's do it step by step. How long have you been here?
Always.
Always is too complex a definition for human. Though you're probably not human. I was lost in thought. And what am I doing here?
You were always here too.
How is that possible? Did I duplicate myself? Because I don't remember anything like that.
Well, it is you, and it's not like you. There are many of you.
And are you the only one?
I am the only one.
Yulia smiled amiably and waved her tail. One for all my parallel selves?
Something like that.
So are you, like, omnipotent? I didn't manage to find a better word for it.
I don't know.
Do you have any supernatural abilities? Can you fly, throw fireballs, or teleport?
I can make supplies for the winter.
She replied in a serious tone. Let's consider that a no. And what is the purpose of all this?
I don't know.
If I was rather calm at first, then after all these I don't knows, I started to lose my temper. You know...
Semyon!
I heard Slavia shouting. I turned around, and when I looked back at the place where Yulia was standing, she had already disappeared. There you go again. I gnashed my teeth and went back to the girls. We had been walking for several hours, but the city was still in the same place. It wasn't getting even a meter closer to or further away from us. I told you should go straight to it. Shut up. I don't understand.
Could it really be an illusion?
Lena, who hadn't uttered the word before, said, No, even an illusion in the desert disappears if you get close enough to it. Probably. So what now? Alyssa said, outraged. I'm sick and tired of all this. Let's go back.
Go if you want. Nobody's stopping you.
Slavia snorted at her. Everyone looked at her in surprise. It was really strange to hear such things from the role model pioneer.
Why are you always so unsatisfied with everything? You don't like it? Get your ass back.
Like I asked you, Alyssa said uncertainly.
Well, she's right.
Lena cut into the conversation.
I'm fed up with your whining.
Oyana got scared and hid behind me. Oh, you're just here to look better at someone else's expense. Sure, it's easier to stand out with me in the background.
Don't trust me. You won't be able to stand after what I'll do to you now.
Lena rushed to Alyssa, but Slavia stood between them.
Hell no, let me go first! Stop it!
Oyana yelled in tears. I had no idea what to do in such a situation, but I couldn't let them fight. However, I didn't interfere. Yolia jumped out of nowhere, got between the girls, and hissed in a rage.
You shouldn't be like this. This is not right. You must not act like that. It is not your purpose.
The girls jumped back. Alyssa squealed. Slavia adopted some kind of fighting position, and Lena was holding a knife, which she pulled from God knows where.
Who are you? Who is it?
What is it?
I couldn't tell if she was addressing Yolia or me. Wait. I stood between them and the cat girl. I can explain everything. It's like I'm making excuses. To who and what and for what? She should explain everything. The girls relaxed a bit. Well, have you all heard the legend of the cat girl? So this is... Yolia kept on hissing, but more quietly.
She knows,
Slavia said coldly.
She knows what the city is and she knows everything.
She knows nothing.
I know nothing.
Yolia confirmed.
Did you ask her properly?
Alyssa stood up and cracked her knuckles. What the hell are you doing? Stop at once. First the bus, the camp, then you, then her, now that damn city. I started yelling, gritting my teeth, sparks probably flying from my eyes. Enough is enough. I've had it with the damn uncertainty. Either you explain what is happening here, or I won't move an inch from here. Kill me if you want, I don't care. Do you think I can put up with anything? That I'll pretend that there is nothing happening, I understand nothing? Regardless what you do, I don't care. Everything has a limit. I finished my speech more calmly, having lost my breath from yelling. The blood hammered in my temples. The world became darker for one moment, and the next, it painted itself with unimaginable colors. The girls looked at me in surprise and even with fear. Yoya stopped hissing and again looked indifferent to everything around her. Alright. Shit's getting intense, I declared and started to walk along the road in the direction of the city, which moved a step further away with every step I took. No one followed me. The sun started setting beyond the horizon, and the city, still visible in the east, was little by little being absorbed by the mists. I couldn't tell where it is really located because the fields ahead were disrupted by forest, but its buildings still rose above them as the central element of the diorama. The city stood mute, as if hovering over the world, looking down with silent reproach at my trivial attempts to reach it. According to my calculations, I'd walked much more than 2 or 3 kilometers, which was the theoretical distance to the city. I stopped to rest in the shade a couple of times, and the evening coolness became my savior. However, it could be no city at all. I'm just running around like a hamster in a wheel, feeling the exhaustion of the distance I covered, but with my destination somewhere outside the cage. I remembered yesterday's thoughts about the key hanging right under the ceiling. It would certainly be useful to me now. Maybe there are no answers at all. I'm too tired even to think about it. Plus then rage outburst with the girls. Screw it! I sat down on the side of the road, raising a little dust storm from the ground which covered me and made me cough. Tears filled my eyes. When I opened them again, Yoya stood before me. He seems to be advantages to being a cat. You move much faster than humans.
Where are you going?
She asked, paying no attention to my words. I'm going right there. I waved my hand at the direction of the city.
But why?
Where are the others?
They went back to the camp.
I see.
So why are you going there?
Because I got lost in thought. What else is there to do? What will happen if I just sit here?
Nothing.
That's what I mean. Yo-Yo looked at me intently and sat beside me.
I would like to help.
She suddenly said in a quiet voice, "Then help!"
I don't know how.
Tell me about that city, about this world. Why am I here? How do I get back?
I don't know. Well, I mean, it always was like that. You come to this camp in a bus, spend a week here, and then regardless of the outcome, everything repeats. And there are many of you, and they all are all different.
What do you mean, different?
Not like you. You're the only one like this. That's why I can talk to you, and the others just don't understand.
What don't they understand?
They disappear sometimes.
Yo-Yo kept talking, ignoring my question.
That's the way things should be. I have no idea why, but they should. They do not return here after 7 days. But then new ones come, who are just like the previous ones. Everyone is the same in the beginning, almost the same. The differences come after some time. Especially when they have understood that everything should repeat itself again and again.
Does that mean that I'm destined to walk in circles too?
I don't know. This time it's different.
Why does it all happen? Who are those others? She looked at me uncomprehendingly.
But they're you.
What do you mean, me?
You and all those others.
She groused, trying to find the right words.
You're all the same.
So, are they clones of me or something?
What are clones?
Copies. Like 2 identical mushrooms you prepare for the winter.
There are no 2 identical mushrooms.
Yo-Yo said seriously. Imagine that there are.
Identical mushrooms. Maybe. I don't know.
God, this is a nightmare. I put my head on my knees and closed my eyes. We sat in silence for several minutes. I really wanted to understand what was on Yo-Yo's mind. After all, even if she really knows nothing, then she should at least have some thoughts about the things that are happening. Okay. What should I do? I asked in a serious tone. She looked at me uncomprehendingly again. What would you advise me to do?
I don't know.
What would you do in my place?
Me? In your place? That would never happen.
Yo-Yo laughed loudly.
You are you and I am me.
Just imagine it. You have your mind, then you should imagine it. Then you should have an imagination.
Well, I wouldn't change anything.
Why not?
Because it is the way of things. It's better and less troubling this way.
So, is it less trouble to sit in this camp and wait for the endless repetitions?
Yes.
I couldn't agree with that. I just couldn't. As long as it's in my power to change something, or even just try to, I have to act. I rose up from the ground and marched forward towards the distant city, visible in the crimson rays of the faraway sunset. He got closer! The road took a sudden turn at last. The buildings which were just rising above the trees before disappeared from my sight, and the country landscape in front of me was replaced by industrial suburbs. It was dark already. Scattered bright stars filled the sky, still visible from where I stood but disappearing above the city, which was full of distant lights from windows and street lamps. A silent dark night reigned behind me, interrupted only by the warbling of a sleepy night bird, the rustle of grass, and the monotonous buzzing of insects. While in front of me there was a human and Thil, which couldn't stop talking even for a minute, happily winking with every thousands of lights and shouting with a million voices. The road I walked seemed stranger. It was empty, as if deserted, used by neither cars nor people. Like a narrow path, leading away from this world into another one. Yo-Yo walked in silence beside me all this time. Why are you here? I asked quietly.
I have to be with you.
Why?
It's strange. The city always on the right side, now it's in front of us.
She ignored my question. Not much stranger than everything else. I walked about 10 or 20 kilometers and it's still so far away.
Far away?
We may never reach it. I stopped and tried to imagine what awaits me there. Is that city similar to my home one? What is its architecture like? Who lives there? And why did I come to the conclusion that there are any people there? That isn't just an illusion. One of the lame tricks of this sick world. Even Yo-Yo says that she's seeing all this for the first time.
Suddenly, the walkie-talkie I still have with me made a nasty sound, and the agitated voice of Olga said, "Semyon, do you copy? Semyon!" After a moment, I pushed the button and answered, "Yes." "Semyon, so much is happening. Come back at once." "What? What is it? What happened?" I asked without much interest. Camp leader of the pioneers, the whole camp was left far behind. Not just a dozen kilometers, but much further. Everything that happened in the last few days lost any meaning, like a nightmare you start to forget. Now, when there was a real world in front of me, I had no other choice but to believe that when I reach the city, everything will end.
Semyon, hurry, there's no time to explain, it's a disaster.
The static grew stronger, drowning out the camp leader's voice.
Will you go?
Yoya asked, agitated. Where? Back there? No, why would I?
But...
You want me to go back?
I don't know. What do you want?
Really, what do I want? To get to that city? What I've been doing the whole day? Or something more global to escape this world? And what if something bad actually happened back there? That thought sent a flash of pain in my head. Something happened to Slavia, to Lena, to Olyana, even to Alyssa. And why is the question, why would I care, not bothering me now? But yes, I do care. I got so much closer with them recently, and I'd really gotten used to the life of the camp. But what will happen in the city? Would it disappear as suddenly as it appeared? What if everything went the way Yoya described? No, I shouldn't allow it. The walkie-talkie hissed, but I didn't want to turn it off in case I heard something again.
So, what have you decided?
I had to make a decision. Oh. Interesting. Okay, well, I gotta go back. And then it tells me to save for... Okay. I'll go back and I'll save now. Just so that I have that... Just so that I have that there. Okay. I forced myself to speak.
What?
Yoya was surprised. Okay. Let's go back. Weren't you expecting this answer? She smiled cunningly.
No? Why do you think that?
Because you always say something that everything repeats itself even after 7 days. And I can't get out of here.
So we'll check it out.
Oh, check it out? Shouldn't we check out that city for starters?
It's up to you to decide.
I looked at her intently. Something seemed to have changed in Yoya, but I couldn't understand what it was exactly. I've already decided. I mumbled.
Then we should go.
The cat girl made her way across the field in the direction of the forest with confidence. Hey, wait, where are you going?
We'll take less time.
Less time? The thought started spinning in my head furiously, merging in one, which probably wouldn't be a pleasant one. So all this time, I caught up with her in 2 strides and grabbed her tail. Did you know all this time that I could go straight here without wandering for the whole day? Yoya hissed furiously and bared her teeth. I let go of her tail.
No. I mean, I might have known, but you have nothing to do there.
In that city?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. It shouldn't be that way. It's not right. I can't explain. I just know.
I turned around and looked at the distant lights. I wonder, could things get any worse? It is not that everything is really bad right now, but what if that city doesn't disappear? What's happening at the camp? What do Olga's words mean? Should I still hesitate? If I have already decided what to do? Alright, let's go. We walked through the forest almost all the way, crossing forest edges and fields just in a few times. Yoya seemed extremely satisfied with something. Would you explain what is happening to you?
Everything is just so unusual.
Because it was not like this before? Everything repeated itself after 7 days? Yeah, I've heard it already. She just smiled in return. I wonder what happened back at the camp.
Look!
The camp gates were visibly in the distance beyond the trees. We started to walk faster. It was clear that something was wrong. Savionok seemed abandoned. I could assume that pioneers went to bed, but there were no lights except the street lamps. Why isn't Olga waiting for us here with the biohazard squad? She said on the radio that something happened. A strange anxiety had overwhelmed me at once. I looked at Gender, and there,
The city! There's no city! Yo-Yo seemed to be surprised too, surprised for real, so I didn't jump at her with questions. Having reached the camp leader's cabin, I stopped for a moment in hesitation. Images of possible events flashed before my eyes. However, I quickly pulled myself together. This is just some nonsense. There was nothing to support the idea of this science fiction story turning into a bloody thriller. I determinedly pulled the door handle and entered the cabin. No one was inside. Well, no point in staying here then. I rushed to the cabin of Olyana and Alyssa. Without dwelling on my thoughts, I knocked on the door, but only silence responded. I walked around the cabin and looked in the window. It was empty. Well, that doesn't mean anything. They might have gone somewhere. I ran to the canteen. Maybe everybody decided to have a late dinner. However, the door was locked. I went back to the square and dropped onto the bench exhausted.
Enough running, maybe?
Yo-Yo, who had followed me in silence, asked without much interest. Well, true, why did I start panicking? Though, what if something actually had happened?
Well, I'm hungry. I'll go look for something to eat.
I didn't object, and in a moment, Yo-Yo silently disappeared in the night. It's either some stupid prank, which is hard to believe, or everyone really has disappeared somewhere. The event itself isn't any stranger than my arrival here, or that mysterious city which showed up and then vanished, but I've gotten used to this camp and its inhabitants, and now such a twist. I'm more or less adapted to my new circumstances, and now something happens again. I cursed and covered my face with my hands. I'll probably have sat like that for several minutes until tears started to flow, but my eardrums were almost broken by a loud noise. It sounded like a thunderclap. But where did it come from? There wasn't a cloud in the sky. Oh shit. I opened my eyes and saw someone in front of me. You! I heard it stammingly. A thunderstorm rumbled in the clear sky, the lightning flashes obscuring the face of the man standing before me. Why the sad face, Sumrian? Who are you? I shouted. Calm down. You don't have to get tense. Nervous cells don't regenerate, you know. My first thought was to run, but my body didn't respond to that idea. The lightning was still flashing brightly, and there was no chance to see the pioneer's face clearly. However, I was sure that I heard that voice before. Who are you? I asked in a quieter tone. Perhaps you have more appropriate questions. I'm trying to do the voice that I did yesterday for him. Where's everyone disappeared to? They've played their parts. We don't need them anymore. Parts? What parts? Their parts. What about the city? What city? I wasn't sure whether I caught a trace of surprise in his voice or I was just hearing things. The city, there! I waved my hands in the direction of the Genda. Ah, you were talking about. And he went silent for a moment. It's your fault. I don't understand. It's because you don't try hard enough. The pioneer raised his voice. You just need to think. Just think. How long have you been here? 5 days? 6? Or 26? 6 probably. 6? Why 6? Are you sure about 6? Why are you sure? Because you counted the number of dusks and dawns, or because you looked at the date on your mobile phone? I don't know. The pioneer before me lost his temper. I had no clue what he was talking about. 6. Okay. Let it be 6. He said calmly. And haven't you been here before? No. Are you sure about that too? I don't know. And what if I say that you've been here before? I had absolutely no idea how to react to his words. Something was happening to me. Like on the first day here, something inexplicable, terrifying, and maybe dangerous. But I don't remember. Why do you have to remember? He fell silent, seemed lost in thought. However, you really don't remember. Well, I'll tell you then. I could hardly hear his words through the sound of the thunder. My eyes were getting teary because of the lightning flashes, but I was afraid to even blink and give this pioneer a chance to disappear. He might really tell me how I turned up here. This is not the first time you've been here. I don't know how many laps you've had, but it doesn't matter. But why? I don't remember anything. You should not remember. You should not! He shouted. I'm sorry. I decided not to interrupt him. Yes, it is not your first time here. He continued in a calmer voice. But this time is special. It will be the last one for you. I couldn't understand what his definition of the last was. Will I get out from here and return to my normal life? Or does it mean that I'll die here? Well, that's only my opinion. He went silent for a long time. I decided to ask a question at last. How do you know all this? Oh, let's say that I'm your brother in misfortune, and... He disappeared! An explosion sounded nearby. It seemed like lightning struck a tree just dozens of meters away from me. And I instinctively covered my head with my hands and fell beneath the bench. I don't know how long I was lying there, but by the time I had slightly recovered from the shock, the thunderclaps had stopped. I opened my eyes. Yo-Yo was standing where the pioneer had been standing before.
So, you have met your colleague?
She smiled and offered me a hand. Shocked. I didn't know what to do and I kept lying down.
How long are you planning to stay there?
I stood up with difficulty. Who was that? If I had to choose the lesser evil, then I would rather trust Yo-Yo than that mysterious pioneer.
Well, how should I put it?
She got lost in thought.
You know, you're not the only one. To be more precise, you're the only one here, but there are more of the same camp. Lots of them, and there are more of the same of you. A lot of them, too.
I didn't understand anything.
Some of them can appear in other places, like this pioneer, for example.
So you knew all that, but didn't tell me?
You didn't ask.
She shrugged her shoulders. Should I be afraid of him?
I don't think you should, although...
Should I or should I not? My anxiety grew.
I doubt that he can take a physical form, but you should be careful with him.
I'd received so much information at once that I would need more than a week to comprehend it all. Though, keeping all that in mind, I understood that this information doesn't explain anything at all. So there are lots of people like me.
Yes.
But how did we get here?
I don't have an exact answer for that question. I just know that it is you who came here. Just one person came, to be more precise.
Yo-Yo now looked nothing like that strange girl with animal ears who was sprinkling sugar and mushrooms. She was the exact opposite. There was confidence in her eyes and even some arrogance. No sign of her earlier childish infantilism. Who are you then?
Me?
Yes.
Honestly, I have no idea.
I stared at her with an open mouth. How's that you have no idea?
The only thing I remember is that I was here. I don't remember anything else. Like, there's nothing else. I must watch you, all of you, and I exist in all camps simultaneously.
After recovering from my shock, I continued. And you don't know who you are?
Bingo!
She laughed. But that's impossible. Well, I would understand amnesia, but all-powerful beings can't have it.
And who told you that I'm all-powerful?
Are you not?
Actually, I'm capable of nothing. I can't interfere with the natural flow of events.
But didn't you know or see...
I know a bit of something. I saw a bit of something.
And what will... Well, you know. I had no idea how to put the question.
Nothing. Usually 7 days pass. One of you leaves the camp. I'd even say disappears. And then a new one comes. Everything repeats. The number of camps is constant.
We spoke about this before. Disappears where?
I don't know.
That can't be possible. You told me so much and...
Do you think that I'm hiding something from you?
No, I said exhausted. I guess I shouldn't doubt her words, at least for now. Maybe they don't disappear. Maybe they just... go for another lap?
I can't rule out that possibility. But I don't think they do.
What is happening to me now, then?
I can't explain this either. But I know for sure that it was meant to happen. And this is something unusual. The course of events is different this time.
The pioneer spoke about it too.
He might know more than me.
But how should I understand all of this? I sighed deeply and covered my head with my hands.
I think we'll find that out very soon.
Okay, but finally, who are you then? Yo-Yo pouted her lips.
I told you before.
So do you have memory loss then?
No.
She thought for a moment.
I don't have a memory at all. Probably. There was no me before this camp. I didn't exist.
But... I didn't finish the sentence. Taking into account everything that happens here, there was a lot I could only make assumptions about. That means I should not be surprised by a girl with animal ears. Are you something like an observer here?
Probably. I think that word is the most appropriate.
And what about all the inhabitants disappearing after playing their parts?
What are you talking about?
The pioneer said that...
Parts?
She moved her ears in a funny way, making me smile.
There's something to it. Because only you are real here. I mean you, that pioneer, and all the other ones.
How's that?
I told you, I don't know. You can assume that I appeared here with a limited amount of knowledge, nothing more. There are things that I'm not sure about, and there are things that I know more about than you.
Fine. On one hand, her words seemed logical enough, if you can even talk about logic in such a situation. What do you suggest to do next?
To wait and see how things will turn out.
Yes, you can't change anything. I mumbled.
Anyway, it's dinner time.
She smiled merrily and waved her tail. Didn't you go look for something?
I didn't find anything. I had no time. I saw the lightning and came back at once. Let's go.
She went in the direction of the canteen. She'd better stick with me. It might be that there was no pioneer at all, and if I wasn't the only one who can see him, there will be less grounds to doubt my sanity, which is not feeling very secure lately. Yoya sat down at the table and looked at me.
So?
What?
Dinner.
Yeah, what about it? I yawned. The time was long past midnight. By the way, how did you open the canteen?
You've got to have the skills.
No need to continue with this topic. Maybe it's better to go to sleep?
Cook now!
She said in a dictatorial tone. Me?
I don't see anyone else around.
Okay. Slowly walked towards the kitchen. Because of all the talk of food, I suddenly felt hungry. Found a carton of eggs in the fridge and called out to Yulia. Hey, how about some scrambled eggs?
Well, maybe.
I started cooking. Funny the way things turned out. Bizarre and incomprehensible events are happening to me. Yeah, I'm just standing here making dinner. Just hoping for the best. It's a typical Russian feature, yes. Nevertheless, I'm quite sure that nothing bad will happen. And in case of unexpected problems, Yo-Yo will protect me. Although she says that she does not know much, in a critical moment I can certainly rely on her. There is simply nobody else to count on. Just yesterday, nothing was up to me. But at least I had a slight idea of what was happening. However, now, the only thing left to do is comfortably lean back in a chair and wait for the installation to be finished. I added grated cheese, mayonnaise, salt, and pepper and poured the well-stirred mass into the pan. I also found a salami in the fridge and a loaf of bread on the shelf next to it. Soon we were sitting in silence, eating scrambled eggs.
Yummy, yummy!
It's nothing special, ordinary bachelor-style dinner.
Never tried anything like this.
Probably better than mushrooms and nuts.
That's enough!
Yoya answered angrily. When we finished dinner, I said, "Tell me something about yourself, though. You probably have nothing to tell."
Probably.
How long have you been here?
I don't know. A long time.
But are you mostly human?
Well, very likely.
How can you be at several places at the same time?
It's hard to explain. I don't really understand it myself. Let's assume that here and now in front of you, I'm the only one.
I could accept such an assumption. In the end, although the fact that Yoya had many faces was just one mystery among many others happening here, it was definitely not the main one. At least that's what I thought. Well, let's assume that. And what do you know about the world?
I can read and write, if that's what you mean.
She laughed. No, not exactly that. Do you know where this camp is located?
No.
Then maybe you know that I'm not from here, not from this time, not from this reality?
Well, I know, but not any details.
If I asked you what year it is now?
Can't answer.
I took a deep breath and stared out the window.
In general, you can assume that there are some things I know more about than you, and some I know less.
So what should we do?
As I told you before, just wait.
Wait, and what are we gonna do?
What do you want to do?
I don't know, but forgive me, I don't feel like climbing trees.
Okay. Then maybe you'll tell me something about yourself?
Not now.
As you wish. So what then?
I don't know, maybe just sit and wait. I don't mind.
That's so boring.
I don't see any alternatives.
So let's go, come on.
She thought for a while. I looked keenly at Yoya. Looks like she really finds everything here amusing. Moreover, the current situation doesn't seem strange to her. According to her, there is nothing unusual about it. You know, everything that's happening is not quite normal to me. I don't understand why I'm not currently hiding somewhere under my bed, trembling at every sound.
Turns out you're very brave.
I said nothing but merely smiled.
I've got an idea.
I looked at her with interest.
No, I forgot it again.
Yoya scratched her cat ears.
Ah, just remembered. Let's go swimming.
Now I stared at her in disbelief. Maybe it'd be better to go to sleep?
Oh, come on.
She pouted. Indeed, the day had been hot and I was soaked with sweat. It's much easier to fall asleep in this heat when you're clean. Okay, let's go. A few minutes later, we were at the beach. I lazily sprawled on the sand and looked at the river. I immediately felt completely exhausted. Oh, yeah, you're telling me. You know, I don't actually like swimming.
Meaning you don't know how to swim?
Yoya sat next to me. Well, it's not that I don't know. Anyway, that doesn't matter. The pioneers, fine. But how could the whole town disappear?
I told you before. I don't know. Let's go swimming.
I don't want to. I'd never like to reveal that I'm a lousy swimmer.
Come on, stop it. You can splash in the water near the shore.
Okay, wait. I'll go get my swimming trunks. But Yoya seemed not to hear me and started to undress.
What?
Are you going swimming like that?
Yes, anything wrong with that?
I turned away at the right time. Aren't you shy? I tried to speak as calmly as possible, but the reason I did not look was because my face was burning rather than out of politeness.
Shy about who? You?
She laughed. You know what? I turned around. Yoya was already in the water up to her neck.
Come here.
I decided that nothing bad would happen if I stayed in my underwear. I undressed and entered the water. It's cold.
Move around, and you'll get warm like me.
She started to jump and wave her hands in the water. I still felt awkward.
Gone red.
Yoya said excitedly. Of course I am. Next to me, there is a naked girl, or at least a female humanoid.
And?
And that's enough. What's happening? I turned around at the same moment I felt Yoya hug me. This is also part of your program? I understood that I was saying complete nonsense, but nothing more meaningful was coming to my head.
What?
Well, it's, you know, suddenly I realized I was being hugged from behind by a completely naked, omnipotent being, which is able to exist in multiple realities simultaneously. My brain was instantly overloaded by errors about the lack of system resources. Here it is, a blue screen of death. Oh, I got those a lot with this computer. It's, fucked. My legs buckled and I started to go under the water. Yoya held me up.
There's no need to drown yourself.
She was still hugging me. I felt it even stronger. What are you going to do?
Swim, obviously.
So that means you're not suggesting anything? I tried to say it with a calm expression, but it didn't turn out very well.
Like, what, for example?
Well, even though you don't remember much, you essentially behave quite reasonably. So you should understand.
Well, I don't know.
She said slyly. Suddenly I felt something twisting around my thighs. Tried to pull myself away, but Yoya held me tight. Also, motion physics in the water are very different from on land.
It's just my tail.
A tail. Don't you find it strange that you have it at all?
What? You don't like my tail? If you step on it, then you're gonna get hurt.
Wait a minute. I paused for a moment, trying to phrase the thought I'd just had. So you've seen that series too?
What series?
The ones you just quoted.
It's just...
She suddenly stopped and thought.
Don't people say that? Some kind of saying?
So you don't know where it's from?
No, and who cares?
Yoya laughed. Her tail continued to probe my body. Could it be that Yoya still has memories about her time before the camp? Maybe they're hidden somewhere, or suppressed. She got that quote somehow. Of course, maybe she heard it from one of the pioneers. But isn't it too early for that show to even exist? The only conclusion that Yoya seems to be a prisoner in this camp, same as I. Just a more mysterious one. What happened next happened by itself. Even if what I was going to do was dangerous, in the end, I'm a red-blooded man. Did we just have sex with a cat girl? At that moment, Yoya was not an all-powerful being to me. I was holding an ordinary girl in my arms. Did we just have sex with a cat girl? Did we just have sex with a cat girl? I don't know, but I think we might have, and that is very weird. Of course, not weird in this reality, but still. I brought the sleeping Yolia to my cabin. She was surprisingly light. I put her on a bed, collapsed beside her, and closed my eyes, but all my attempts to get to sleep failed. I felt a terrible thirst. Quietly, so as to not wake Yolia up, I got out of bed, pulled on my shorts, and went outside. I'm just gonna save here as well, because I don't know when the next stuff is gonna go up. On the way to the washstands, I thought about everything that had happened. I didn't care about whether it was right or not. No, that wasn't the main issue. I decided that I just didn't have any other choice in that situation. More important are the possible consequences. Even if Yolia was a little different from me, we could say she was closer to who or what was behind all this. Just because she knows more than me. Which means, however blindly assuming or drawing conclusions about anything is a difficult task in this camp. I'm sure of by that now. I quenched my thirst and washed myself. I was going back to camp leader's cabin, whistling a piece from Peer Gynt by Grieg, when somebody called out to me. How did you? I jumped on the spot, turned around and saw a silhouette of the pioneer. There was no chance of seeing his face clearly in this darkness. So, it's you again? Who, me? Not in the sense that I'm the only one. I'm the only one that you have already seen, but in the sense of who, in fact, I am. I don't understand. I remember that Yolia told me he can't do that he can't do me any physical harm, and I calmed down a bit. Well, whatever. Besides, I saw how you were getting it on back there. That gave me the heebie-jeebies. No matter how fantastic a situation is, it's always frustrating when you're caught doing something so intimate. Didn't anyone ever tell you that's not nice to spy on people? You're upset. No, why would I be? I snorted and half turned towards him, trying to in vain to see his face. What has that cat-eared one told you? She has a name. I felt a strong attachment to Yolia, so I didn't hesitate to stand up for her. A name? What is that? An almighty observer? The double-faced Janus? Yolia, I said a bit uncertainly. Yolia? He started laughing like a horse on meth. And who gave it to her? You, probably. Fine. Tell me what you want and get lost. Okay, your majesty. Just don't be angry. He bowed awkwardly. The sight was so grotesque that I even shuddered. And what has that so-called Yolia told you? I decided there was no point in hiding the information I'd found out recently. She told me that there are many other camps, that you are the same as me, and that after 7 days we leave and never come back. It was disgusting for me to be in the same boat as him, but a fact was still a fact. Yes, that's about right. What did she tell you about herself? Do you think it's any of your business? Besides, surely you know everything without me. Yes, I know something. I've dealt with her before. His tone was so disgusting that I didn't even want to continue this conversation. Well, if you have nothing more to... No, wait a minute. I haven't finished yet. Now what? Want me to tell you what she's hiding from you? Go on. I was sure that Yolia had no secrets from me, but in my situation, any information could be useful. Never come back? No, they do come back, and you come back. At least you did before. I don't understand. I did tell you that you had already been here. So, after 7 days, it doesn't matter whether you leave on a bus, fall asleep in the forest. You'll find yourself sitting in the 410 bus again. But how? She told you that we just disappear, right? I did not answer. Well, I can't be sure she is lying. Maybe she just doesn't know everything. But what I said is true. You know, you and I were here many times, of course. I've been here more times, but that doesn't matter. Okay, then why don't I remember anything? You'll remember them all sometime later. That's what happened to me. You're telling me there is no escape from here? Yes, I am. I remember you told me that what happened today had never happened before, right? True. This is the first time. And how can you explain that? I won't. You're hoping that something will change. No way it will. We'll see about that. I decisively turned around and walked away. To my surprise, the pioneer did not even try to stop me.
I returned to the cabin and found Yo-Yo carefully combing her tail.
You were talking to him again.
How do you know? For a moment I had doubts.
Just guessed. He's supposed to appear when you're alone.
Yeah.
And?
He told me that nobody disappears, that we come back. Yo-Yo didn't answer anything. Is that so?
To tell you the truth, I don't know.
I sat on the bed beside her and began to think. I don't know how long we've been sitting there, but soon I started to fall asleep.
Let's go watch the stars.
Let's go. I want to sleep badly, but at the same time I felt a sense of incompleteness and was hoping fresh air would clear my thoughts. A few minutes later, we were at the square. Fair enough. I sat on the bench and Yo-Yo put her head in my lap and stared at the sky.
Isn't it beautiful?
It is. We sat in silence for quite a long time. So what will happen tomorrow?
What do you mean?
Well, tomorrow's the 7th day, so it's time to leave.
You want to leave?
Suddenly I was struck by realization. I've heard this question many times before. According to you and him, even if I don't want to, I must.
So let's leave.
She smiled. Will you come with me?
Of course I will. After all this, you must definitely marry me.
I don't know of a single administration that would register marriages with cat girls.
So we'll look for one.
Okay, seriously though, what will happen tomorrow?
In the evening, the bus will come.
Sure about that?
Absolutely sure. It always comes.
And?
And we'll take it.
And then?
Why are you asking all these stupid questions?
Yo-Yo protested.
How should I know?
Well, make a guess.
We will go back to your world.
And that would be? I stopped. We'll see. I sighed. What about you and your many selves?
I only look like this here, right? Over there I could just be regular me.
Sure, with cat ears and a tail. Yo-Yo hit me painfully in the ribs. Hey, I'm just joking,
Maybe without a tail.
she said sadly. No, I like it. Don't think anything like that. She said nothing, just closed her eyes.
What's it like over there?
It's different. That's the best way I can put it. Some things are better, some things are worse. We've got internet. I chuckled.
What would I do there?
Well, I don't know. Let's solve the problems as they come.
Alright.
We sat there for a long time, talking about all sorts of foolish things. Finally, Yo-Yo said,
Let's go sleep.
Yeah, good timing. I felt a wave of terrible fatigue,
Tomorrow's time to pack our things.
but I have nothing to pack.
How about that? Here's nothing to pack, but you know what? I have.
Wait, for example? I giggled good-naturedly. I just can't imagine what she's planning to take.
What about my supplies for the winter? Apples, nuts, mushrooms.
Do you really think you'll need all that?
Of course.
She jumped up and looked at me sternly.
I'm going to sleep, and you can do whatever you want.
With all these words, Yo-Yo marched briskly toward the camp leader's cabins. Hey, I didn't... I rushed after her. After entering the cabin, Yo-Yo immediately undressed, snuck into the bed, and pulled the blanket over her head. I didn't mean anything like that. If you want to take your stores, let's take them. In the end, they could be useful for us, especially in my situation where anything could happen.
I was just joking.
She peeked out from under the bed and stuck out her tongue.
Now sleep.
Commanded Yo-Yo. I didn't mind it, so I undressed, lay down beside her, and we fell asleep holding each other. I had a strange dream. Now, of course, being here in this camp was extremely strange by itself, incomparable with any normal nighttime dreams. However, in this dream, everything seemed so real that when I woke up, I couldn't remember a thing. There were only vague images of a long driveway, an old rusted bus, the rickety gates of the camp, collapsed statues of pioneers, and an abandoned square. I ran through Savignac, back and forth as if trying to find someone, but exactly who remained a mystery to me. When I woke up, the sun was already setting. A bright sunbeam was lighting up the dust drifting in the silence of the room and painting it with all the colors of the rainbow. Reflections on the glass took on different outlines. Look from one angle, and it's just a spot of sunlight. Look from another, and it's a pirate waving his cutlass. Stretch out lazily and yawned.
Turning to the other side, I saw Yoya sleeping peacefully next to me.
Good morning.
Said Yoya without opening her eyes. It's daytime already.
Morning starts when you wake up.
You're talking the same way I did before.
So now you've changed your mind?
Well, I don't know. During the last week, I got used to getting up in the morning. That was not entirely true because I didn't always wake up with the sunrise and regularly missed lineups.
You want to say that you've changed?
She giggled. I think any man in my position would change at least a little. It seemed quite natural to me.
Yes, perhaps. I won't argue.
A long silence followed. The kind of silence where you are not tortured by the need to say something just to break the oppressive awkwardness. The silence could say more than any words. Well, we're leaving today, I asked finally.
I think so.
You think? You mean you're not even sure?
Not completely. This is happening for the first time.
You mean the disappearance of the pioneers?
Not just that.
She got out of bed and started to dress. I looked at her mesmerized, unable to look away.
What are you looking at? Get up, it's time to pack.
You mean your berries and mushrooms?
Of course.
Yoya stood arms akimbo and looked at me resentfully.
Do you want all my supplies to be gone?
Of course I don't. To tell the truth, I didn't really give a damn about them. To be precise, I just don't see the point in stocking food for a one-way journey. At least without a return ticket for sure. A few minutes later, we were standing in the same forest glade where the day before Yoya had been sprinkling a mushroom with sugar. She went behind a tree, threw aside the leaves, and pulled out a heavy sack. All this?
This isn't all. This is just what's necessary.
I couldn't put what I planned to say in a nice way, so I decided to say nothing. The sack was filled with mushrooms, berries, apples, nuts, all mixed up. I immediately had serious doubts about the fitness for human consumption of this assorted lot.
Take it.
Said Julia, pointing at the sack with an easy smile. Well, I hope you understand that I won't be able to.
No, you're strong. Look how massive you are.
She used her hands to indicate the difference in our height. I tried to lift the sack. It weighed at least 30 kilos. Oh, that's... I mean, for a sack, these subs weighs 30 kilos. I mean, look at it. Look at how massive it is. Look at it. Look at how big it is. One of these weigh 30 kilos. I mean, sure it's heavy, but... a sack over the shoulder, that'd be fine. Look, let's only take some of it. We won't be able to eat all this anyway. It's trying to cheat.
Why not? Winters are long in these lands.
How would you know that?
I guessed.
I tried to make the most painful grimace I could. I could manage it as a square at most. Have mercy on me. Yoya thought a little.
Okay, then throw out the berries.
What a great solution. Get rid of the lightest stuff. However, I didn't object, so I put my hand into the sack. Can't say it got any lighter, I said when I finished with the berries.
I don't want to hear it.
I sighed and sank helplessly to the ground next to the sack. Let's carry it in turns.
But it's heavy,
exclaimed Yulia. That's what I'm telling you.
It's heavy for me.
As if it's light for me, I muttered under my breath, trying to make Yulia not hear it.
It is light for you.
Seems I should not underestimate her cat ears. Okay, let's come back here later. For now, it would be nice to have something to eat.
Well, maybe.
She smiled and held out her hand to me. The canteen was filled with the smell of fried potatoes. Yulia flittered around me, watching me cook. To tell the truth, I had never found any special pleasure in doing this. I always wanted to start eating immediately, without waiting for all the ingredients to be prepared, the water to boil, the dumplings to float up. That's why I'm usually fine with eating sandwiches or fast food.
You're doing so well.
I told you there's nothing special to it.
But...
She tried to find words.
But you're doing well anyway.
I'm glad you like it.
Of course I like it.
Oh god. My hair feels funny. Judging by the way Yoya was demolishing the potatoes, she actually enjoyed my simple culinary creation.
Are you worried?
She'll first then speak.
We're allowed.
You must behave in polite society.
What kind of society are we in here?
Yoya spread her hands to the sides and laughed. That was true, the canteen was empty. Just like the whole camp. What do you think? Where are they all gone to?
How should I know?
She picked up the last piece with her fork and deftly popped it into her mouth.
You miss them?
Sort of.
What about me? I'm better than any stray dog.
Another quote. I didn't pay any special attention to it this time. Given that you're some kind of a cat, you've definitely got your quotes right.
Are you feeling lonely?
Well, I'm not alone here.
Just the two of us.
But if what had happened didn't happen, I stopped for a moment. So in other realities, you and me weren't so...
Close?
Yulia finished for me. Yeah.
No.
It's strange.
Why?
Well, because there are a lot of camps, as you say, and according to the theory of probability, which means that everything happened within the last 2 days is really something exceptional.
You say that as if it's bad.
Of course not. I felt the blood rush to my head. Just strange. There are a lot of strange things here. That's why I use that word so often. Anyway, you're just nitpicking.
Boo, me never.
She laughed. No, you're seriously nitpicking, especially when it comes to words.
Why would I do that?
I can't even imagine. You'd know better. Seems like for any of my arguments, she already had an answer prepared, as if she knew in advance what I'll say. Forget it, so let's go.
Where?
I realized that saying this was a big mistake. Now she would definitely drag me back to that sack. Well, there's enough time to kill time till the bus arrives, so we could...
Alright, the supplies.
I just scratched my chin and followed her. Epic fail. Carrying nearly 25 kilos is not easy, even for a short distance. I stopped every 50 meters to rest. Yulia hurried and encouraged me, but it was just making things worse. I don't know if I deserved a medal or in some strange sack of catgirl supply short distance carrying event, but about an hour later the sack was transported to the bus stop. I collapsed beside it, exhausted. That's it.
You're such a hero, see? Nothing to be afraid of.
My whole body ached. My muscles burned. Rivers of sweat flowed from my forehead, stinging my eyes. I don't know what a reward I was owed for this, but this competition was more like the Olympics for mentally challenged people. Though I won, I'm still a retard.
Look, the bus is coming.
What? I jumped up, my fatigue vanished in an instant. Something could indeed be seen in the distance. I narrowed my eyes and saw the Icarus. But why? You told me that it arrived closer than night. Moreover, I'd expect the Liaz bus. Soon the bus stopped in front of us and the door opened, inviting us in. The driver's seat was empty, but I was not really surprised. What stranger things happened here?
Coming?
Yulia easily jumped onto the first step and gestured me to follow. Don't you think it's weird that the buses go by themselves?
Well,
she thought about that.
Of course it's strange, but you said yourself that there are plenty of strange things here.
Yeah, she was right on that one. Anyway, I had no choice. In either case, whether I stay or whether I go on that bus, I'm not sure what will come next. But in the case of the second choice, I had at least an illusionary hope of escaping this camp. I sighed, and with one last effort, lifted the sack and got onto the bus. I drove for about an hour, and I saved the game again. And save. Yes. There we go. Yulia was constantly chattering about something, but I wasn't listening. I carefully studied the passing landscapes through the window. Forests, fields, river, forest, fields, absolutely nothing suspicious. On the one hand, this gave me some hope, but on the other, it was a sign that in the end nothing will change, because in this world it seems everything is slow and measured, following its well-established rules. That's how it was at least a few days ago. Although maybe I shouldn't be drawing conclusions after having been there only a week.
Well, now I'm sure everything will be fine.
I looked at her carefully. Cat ears, a long tail that moved rhythmically back and forth, slightly enlarged fangs. Yulia seemed like a character from a fairy tale. We can decide what to do with her in the real world later. I was turning into one big throbbing vein, ready to burst at any moment. I was waiting for how this will end. The result could be anything. For me, it is important not to go crazy ahead of time. My nerves were stretched to the limit and I tried not to think about anything. But it was impossible to distract myself.
Hey, are you even listening?
No, sorry, I was deep in thought.
Well, as always.
She pouted. Now is such a big moment. You know, we can get out of this camp, so it's a very important moment for me.
Well, it's important for me too, but I'm not worried.
You simply can't see this in context.
What do you mean?
Before I lived in a different world, the real one as it seemed. So I have something to compare this camp to, and we can say we're born here.
No, I wasn't.
How do you know?
I just know. I know that.
The bus peacefully bounced off the bumps, shaking me more and more. The steering wheel was turning on its own, and I soon stopped noticing the absence of the driver. My eyes began to close and I dozed off. Some girl bent over me. She was gently whispering something in my ear, so tenderly that I felt a strong blow on the head.
Hey, don't sleep.
Am I disturbing you? I asked in annoyance, rubbing the bruised place.
You're not listening to me.
If we escape from here, we'll have lots of time for conversation.
If we don't escape?
Then we'll have even more time. I tried to smile, but just thinking that we will never leave this camp frightened me a lot. So I just gave a stupid grin.
It's better if we don't escape, because in your world, I don't know what to expect there. But you won't pay any attention to me at all.
I will, I promise. I hugged her sincerely.
Really, truly?
Really, truly. Yulia leaned against me.
And you'll listen to me?
Of course.
You'll always agree with me?
Sure. She pulled away and looked into my eyes.
Well, then I forgive you.
A loud laugh filled the bus cabin.
But be careful. Don't you forget about that or try to deceive me.
Want to sign a contract?
A marriage contract?
I don't have the property for that anyway.
But I do.
Yulia pointed at the bag lying in the aisle. Well then, I tried to remember what I bought with my money. Here, I took my mobile phone out of my pocket. This time it was already out of charge.
What's that?
Yulia asked curiously, taking the mobile. A very useful thing in my world. You can communicate with people at a distance.
Well, that's really cool. Excellent. That will do.
She put the mobile on the seat.
Deal then? My supplies for the winter from me and from you is that thing.
Okay, deal.
Alright, now we're husband and wife.
She smiled slyly. Hey, wait. I suddenly remembered that all this conversation had started with a marriage contract. Anyway, without an official registration...
When we get to your world, we will register our marriage. A man without a wife is like a kitchen without a knife.
If we get there, of course. Yuri said nothing but just stared straight forward with our eyes open. Ah! Followed her gaze and realized that the bus was full of people. All of them were wearing pioneer uniforms, and they looked exactly like that pioneer. Nobody said a single word, they just looked silently in my direction. I could not see their faces, closed statues, yes, but their faces were shrouded in shadows that seemed to appear from nowhere. It was as if, instead of the heads that normal people have, they had mini black holes. I started shivering, my back broke out in goosebumps. Yulia squeezed my hand. With enormous effort, I forced myself to look at her. She was very scared too. If I was alone at that moment, I probably would have fainted. But right now, I was responsible for more than my own life. Who are you? I gritted out with difficulty. The pioneers maintained the terrifying silence. It became hard to breathe. I was gasping for breath. But my brain refused to work on low oxygen. I lost consciousness for a moment.
Who are you? What do you want?
I heard Yulia shout just as I regained my senses. A pioneer stood up from the first team and walked towards us. Hi, Sungmin. We've decided to go back home, too. A chorus of voices filled the bus. We'll keep you company. I didn't know what to say. This was the strangest situation I had yet experienced in the camp. Neither Yulia, nor the city, nor the disappearance of pioneers, nor the strange person standing before me were comparable with this.
I asked you a question!
It seems like Yulia was still able to speak clearly. And I was surprised. In the end, she was still, you could say, an extraordinary being. I repeat, we're just going home. His voice sounded frantic. Are we bothering you? Bothering?
What do you want from us?
Nothing at all. Nothing.
I don't believe you. I knew there's a reason for you to be doing all this.
It's just your imagination, animal.
Maybe I am an animal. What are you, a ghost? A shadow?
Maybe. Ghosts have their rights too.
You have the right to get the hell out of here.
Yulia shouted so loud that my ears rang, but neither of the pioneer nor his companions reacted. I guess we'll stay, he said maliciously. But how did you manage this and all the others? At last I gathered the strength to speak. It's simple, my dear friend. Collective mind. Heard about it? And so, every one of us wanted to wish you luck simultaneously, that's all. Luck. Luck. In person, I would say, that's the reason we are here. But what will happen next? Honestly, I have no idea.
Get out!
Yoya shouted again. Be cool, you. Settle down. You see, he addressed me again. I don't want to hide anything from you. You have a good chance to get out of here now. I don't exactly know why, but your actions broke the cycle. Cycles, to be precise. All our cycles. And there is a chance that we won't have to leave the camp every 7 days and return back home on the 8th, waking up in the bus.
Then don't return, just die!
It's not that simple. Why shouldn't we have a sense of self-preservation? We should, right? He asked the pioneers. Should. I heard their response. So we decided to keep you company. Now either we will all get out of here together, or we'll all vanish forever together, or start another cycle. All 3 options suit us.
What if we die because of you?
Well, you won't die alone. We'll die with honor. Honor. Or do you think that our lives... He laughed. Well, we call lives. Lives are not as important as yours. Yuya didn't know how to answer. Okay, so I think I've got it. This is something supernatural going on. He was brought back for a reason. I'm not quite sure the reason yet. He was brought there for a reason, not quite a reason yet. But each different scenario that I did, I played a different Semyon. So this Semyon is probably the same Semyon that appeared in the Semyon endings. And he is probably the very first Semyon that I played. This is interesting. Like, I think I'm starting to get it. Not completely, but starting to. And don't think that all of us are here. In fact, many more of us didn't fit in. But there were enough tickets for everyone.
You!
Oh, Yuya hissed. It's too late. I suggest you calm down and enjoy the flight, stewardess. Stewardesses will offer you food and drinks in a couple of minutes. He grinned and went back to his place. Yuya jumped up, but I stopped her.
Let me go, I'll take him down!
No need. What can you do to him? What good will it do? She looked at me in surprise, but sat down.
So what? Are you suggesting we don't do anything and just wait?
What can we do?
I don't know, but we shouldn't be just sitting.
I've learned one thing for sure in this camp. Very little is up to me. Actually, nothing at all, especially now, especially here. I've not the slightest idea what to do to drive them out of here. But even if I knew, I'm sure that nothing would change. Nothing would affect the final outcome.
You may be right.
Yuya said in a sad voice. We can only wait. Then, it won't take long. She put her head on my shoulder. We've been going for such a long time. It seemed like an eternity. The sun had set and night fell. Seconds lasted for hours, minutes for years. Pioneers remained dead silent, and even that one, the arrogant one, didn't try to start a conversation. Silence was louder than any shouts. A quiet clap would be enough to make an eardrum explode. Me and Yuya stayed silent too. Everything had been said today. There were no words left. I felt totally empty. My head was as heavy as lead, and it seemed that I was already dead. But God and the devil had just forgotten about me, so I'd have to spend the rest of eternity alone with this silent mass of pioneers. Are they really my colleagues in misfortune? Did they really come to this camp to spend a week here and then leave, and then do it all over again? Maybe it would be the same for me, as that pioneer said. I thought I heard a bang. Anything is possible. Anything is possible now. I heard a quiet snoring from Yo-Yo. She's fallen asleep. All that stress must have been too much for her. Or maybe she used up all her energy shouting. In any case, it's better to face the end while sleeping. And I was absolutely certain that this was the end. It's stupid to cling to hope while standing on the edge of the cliff surrounded by countless enemies. And even if there was the smallest chance of rescue, you wouldn't really think about it. Maybe it shouldn't be this way. Maybe someone else would have more optimism in my place. I just had to take the last step. Why though? These are not stairs, but an escalator. It'll get me to the finish in any case. Closed my eyes and my consciousness left me at once. Again, I'm going to save, just so I don't have to go through so much and skipping and everything. I fell asleep. I don't know whether it will be for an hour or for an eternity. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying very hard to get what's happening. Emptiness is not the best place for thoughts. When there is nothing, the essence of the normal world disappears. In the end, thoughts are a part of it too. Just an immaterial one. It is difficult to imagine where existence ends. A person is not supposed to figure it out. I regained consciousness in complete darkness. To be precise, I regained the ability to perceive myself as a person. There was nothing else, neither around nor inside me. It was like I ceased to exist, was erased from the universe, but I wasn't dead, no. It was totally different, as if I had moved from three-dimensional space to one-dimensional. The whole world compressed to the size of one dot. That dot was me, was everything. I was everything, and at the same time, was nothing. However, my consciousness, my memories, my soul went into that tiny patch too. I wasn't afraid, maybe because there was no need, or maybe because I still couldn't understand what was happening. All sense of time was lost here. There was simply no such term here. That's why it was impossible to tell how long I'd been in that emptiness. Finally, after an hour or a year, I started to hear a quiet voice. I couldn't make out the words, but I was the one it spoke to, actually. There was no one else.
Simeon!
Simeon! Yeah? I replied as if answering a phone.
Nice to meet you.
The voice sounded very close.
We've known each other for a long time, though.
Who are you?
I am you.
Did I die?
No, nothing like that.
The voice sounded calm as if speaking to an old friend. What's happening to me?
You've reached the end of your path.
What path?
You managed to leave the camp.
Camp? Yeah, I remember. The Savianak Pioneer Camp. Suddenly I remembered the last 7 days. I remembered how I was leaving together with Yo-Yo. Where is Yo-Yo? Yes, she's right here. I looked around, but there was only emptiness around. I don't see her. You shouldn't see. You should feel. I wasn't tense at all, as if I was recovering from anesthesia. I don't feel anything. You just have to remember. After these words, thousands of pictures, images, smells, thoughts reappeared in my mind. The camp. I was there for real, with Slavia, with Lena, with Alyssa, with Oyana, with Masha, and then, but how? I clearly remembered that I left it and came back to the real world, and then I met Slavia at the bus stop. No. Met Oyana at the university. No. I met Alyssa at a concert. But I'd lived with Lena for so many years. No. I had a completely different life with Masha. How was all that even possible? I remembered events of almost 5 lifespans in the smallest of details. But everything happened simultaneously, and I'm sure that it was all real. How? Yes, all of it really happened to you. But how? You left the camp, not just once. Then you lived your normal life, then you came back and left again. So it was like I died and was revived? No. You can think that it happened all simultaneously. I don't understand. You don't need to. And who are those other pioneers?
there are you too. The other sides of you. I don't understand. Every person is an endless universe. His own actions determine how his life will proceed. You remember those 5 times because those were times you took choices that led you out of the camp. Your other replicas acted differently somewhere. That's it. It's all that simple. For me, it wasn't that simple. And what is this camp? You can consider it a testing ground. And who are you? I am you, but from a long time after. Not time as you see it, I am beyond and above all of you. You can consider me the prime Semyon. So you're the reason for all this? It's not exactly true. Everything did not happen according to my will, but I can control these events. But why? Are you against it? I lost myself in thought, at least as lost as was possible in such an obscure state of mind. I don't know. If you were given an option now, when you know and remember everything, would you really decide to take it back to the start and just forget everything? I don't know. I wasn't ready to answer such a difficult question. Anyway, where's Yulia? She's right here. Where? Inside of you. How's that? Yulia's your inner world, your consciousness, which had gained a form. Okay, I'm confused again. I couldn't comprehend his words. You don't need to try and understand, I already said. But I felt that I missed her. Don't be afraid, she'll always be with you. I don't think I wanted this exact union just yesterday. The hardest thing is to make your inner peace, not peace with an enemy. And you have done it. If you want to love her, you have to learn how to love yourself. Well, that's enough for you. It's time for me to leave. Wait, what will happen to me? We'll go back. I already didn't understand what was real and what was not, or how many realities there were. Where to? It depends only on you. I don't understand. You have remembered all possible variations of events now. He paused for a long time, and I didn't dare to say anything, just so I wouldn't accidentally interrupt him. So, you have at least 5 options. Will I remember all this? That's up to you to decide. A trace of emotion appeared in his voice. For a moment, maybe joy, or maybe dissatisfaction. Farewell, but I could feel that voice will never speak to me again. So it was Yulia. Yulia was his way out. Okay, I get that now. Yulia was the key. And Yulia is himself. Not Semyon himself, but his love for himself. Because I remember at the very start of this, wasn't he in like some massive deep depression or something? I think, yeah? And that pioneer camp, as was explained, was a testing ground to try and figure out how to, I guess, move forward? I don't know. Time passed to try to decide what to do next. If everything is as he said, then I just have to wish. By that time I had completely calmed down, and you could even say, cheered up a bit. I was totally sure that I got out of that enchanted camp. Moreover, a bright future awaited me. I didn't know it, I remembered it. But what should I choose? Closed my eyes, imagined Slavia smiling at me. She was always willing to help me, and never scolded me for anything. It is always calm, and safe being with her. And that meeting at the bus stop? I guess I never would have thought about being with her in real life. But that would be amazing for sure. Throughout so many years, Lena had grown truly precious to me. I actually remember all that time spent with her. I remember our kids, remember times of joy and sorrow, remember everything. It's hard to reject all that. Or Alyssa, dearly hugging her guitar. It's never boring with her. Maybe that's the life I always dreamed of, simply laid back and fun. Maybe that's the girl I ever wished for, a loyal tomboy? Alyssa's image in my thoughts smiled slyly. The grown-up Olyana seemed like a good option too, of course. Back in the camp, I didn't really treat her as a woman, but now, obviously, she's got her cons. But at the same time, there was a sense of magic in her, something attractive.
And of course Miku, Masha from that other life. She was truly precious to me. Maybe back there in the camp it was just a small episode and I might be a completely different person from myself in all other paths. But that's for the best. New opportunities, possibilities, the person I love, a person who I seemingly knew my entire life. But it's still sad that I'll never see Yulia again.
You certainly will.
Her voice sounded in my head. What? Where are you?
I'm right here, like he said.
You knew?
No, I understood it only when we came here.
Are you okay with it? Won't you miss me?
Of course not. I'm always with you. Do you remember your promise?
What promise?
That you'll always be with me?
Yes.
Don't you ever think to break it? I'll be watching you.
I don't know if I'll ever speak to her like that again. Maybe one could simply go nuts from that, but right now I was happy. Alright, I won't forget.
Then you just have to make a choice.
Felt Yulia disappear, vanishing in the labyrinth of my mind. Well, it's time. Closed my eyes tight and I saved the game. I'll save here on day 6. So my eyes were struck by the bright sunlight. Nothing surprising about that. It is summer after all. It's that strange dream again. Why did I start seeing it so often recently? Maybe there is a reason. Still, why? Pioneer camp, some girls, the camp leader? I'd never been to the camp. Maybe you just don't remember. Very funny. But what if? Trust me, I clearly remember everything that has happened to me since I was 3 years old. Before that, I was probably at an unconscious age. Even if that is true, all of this is not accidental. Why is it not accidental? There are people who see a black cat in their dreams every night and nothing happens. Did you just make that up? I haven't made up anything. I read about it recently. The black cat is one thing, such a detailed dream is something else. I don't see much difference. Okay, then what would you say about that voice? What voice? Don't play the fool. Wasn't planning to. Which told you to make a choice? Well, a voice, so what? There was a reason, but I don't remember anything else. The dream ends there. Maybe you forget it when you wake up? Maybe, but what? That means that you actually made a choice. I don't remember the options. Were there any? There should have been. You don't even try to be serious about the important things, as always. Oh my god, it's so important. There's no point in talking to you. Recently I started to notice that I have something like a split personality. An inner monologue is certainly a normal phenomenon for any person, but when it turns into a dialogue, well, it is still a long way from being a clinical case, because I talk to myself and not another personality inside my mind. Maybe with my own subconscious? However, that is not important. I know who to choose first! Ugh! Okay, I'll go... I'm pretty sure he was I'm pretty sure... Okay, so my favorite one out of all of them was Alyssa. Yeah, she was my favorite one. But I feel like I mean, I'm gonna do all of them, don't you worry. But I feel like he, in the end, was supposed to be with Yulia, which is himself, his own love. So, I think I might go down the list, and I'll choose Slavia, then Alyssa, then Yulia at the absolute last. So, let's just go Lena, Olyana, and Masha. Because I've already saved. Ah, I can save here. Save game. Choose Lena. This is gonna be a long episode. Oh wow.
turned over to the side. The bright sun still shining in my eyes.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning? I replied. Choice. Did I even have a choice? Wow. Every story has its beginning and its end. And now we choose Olyana. I turned over to the other side. The bright sun still shining in my eyes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, I replied. Choice, did I even have a choice? I wonder what happens when I pick Yulia. Yeah, I wonder what'll happen when I choose Yulia. So then with Marsha or, you know, Miku, good morning, I replied, choice, did I even have a choice? Then we load again. And then we choose Slavia. And there's Slavia in the bed. Overside, bright sun, morning, replied, any choice. And then we load. And then we go to Alyssa. I'm wondering what happens when we go to Yulia. Is there going to be no one there? That's all the same. And then load game. And then Yulia. Does Yulia appear or is no one there? Yulia appeared, but as a normal person! Good morning, I replied. Choice, did I even have a choice? Every story has its beginning and its end. There is no book that rereading it would not reveal new details you hadn't noticed before. But every book has a last page, and after turning it over, we put the book on a shelf. Just to open a new one tomorrow. Well, that's nice. That was really nice. Cat is fine too. And then there it is, the actual end. Alright. So I wonder if I had to actually go through to all the end for all of that. I'm not too sure if I did. But yeah, a cat is fine too. That was the Yulia ending. So now I'm pretty sure that's because there's another ending which I'll do tomorrow. I don't know how long it's going to be. If it turns out to be really short, then I'll go and do this one. If it turns out to be like a really short ending. So did I get all of the oh yeah, there's Yulia. And then maybe I should have gone back. Oh no, I had to go forward. Did I get all of them? Wait. Sunlight. Yulia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe that's from the One Pioneer story. Maybe. No, I know what that is. I know what that is. That's the next ending that I'm gonna do tomorrow. But wow, holy shit. I gotta hand it to it. I was not expecting this to be so good. I'm going to tell the truth. I went into this game with shits and giggles. Going, haha, dating sim game, this is gonna be so funny, we're gonna have a good laugh. No! I'm feeling things! This is fantastic. And if Soviet Games has more, which I'm gonna check out after, like, actually after this episode, I'm gonna check out if they have more. And hopefully they do, because holy fuck, like, I think I got it. I'm not too sure if I got it, but I gotta do the One Pioneer story as well. So if the next ending is too short, I'm gonna do the One Pioneers as well. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, click on that notification button. I'll see all of you beautiful people in the next video. Bye bye.